because I thought it should have gone down on that Tesla robotaxi news. And then now it's back to the upside. So yeah, there's some strength coming into Uber. It has rejected the 200 SMA pretty much every single time. I can zoom back and it'll extend the line, don't need to. So if it wicks this high and ends up closing underneath 77, if it just, wicks this top, close under 77, then it's just more of the same. Failing around the same price on Uber, but I'm not going to stand in front of this one. Again, I thought it should have lost the bid on that news from Tesla, and instead it's showing some signs of strength. It's 11. You already know we're going to be chilling out with some penne pasta and some meatballs. And we're going to say hi to Raheem Alani because he's right behind us. I didn't even see him.
Oh, there he is. What's up,
there. But for now, you're going to the Joey Options and Sharif the Professor. We'll see you back at 2 o'clock. Peace.
Boom. Oh. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy Joey Options. I'm Sharif, and it's Wednesday. It's 11:01.
Yeah.
I got 3 more hours.
Oh, stop.
Welcome to everybody here. Stark, Official, Stuart D, shout out to Eclectic Passions, Hoth, Emporium, Pillsbury, Money Clip, Shrimp. We got Trust Fund Baby, man. We got Simply Laura. Shout out to Simply Laura, Andre, BCN Rob, Green Saber, Customer ATH, Hurt Scrambler. We got Danny Patel. Shout out to Fluffsters, Fluffy Hippo is in the house. Oslam, Rex Banner, Don Baca, Crazy Dirt Weed, and Viet Fo. Ooh, fa. I said it right. Trust Fund Baby, Hems Bonds, Ronaldo, D-Loaf. Shout out to Hangry Wife and Brendan, Canny. We got Old Toby, my bad. Lewis is in the house as well as Mike, Lieb, Terrible Trades, Melinda, Paul, Overweight Spider.
Oh.
Just, 2 more, I guess, spider webs.
Maybe they're overweight the S&P, overweight spider.
That's actually a very good point, because
right?
overweight in trading is completely different than being overweight physically, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Grunfeld, Satinger, Oslam, Ozan, Kirk D, HP, frickin' Motor Cars, Crypto. We got 1320 Wolf. Man, who else? We got Notorious Dingleberg, Snowman. Shout out to Sit and Spin and Dino Vincente, Kirk D in the house, as well as Slim Trady. Juan Padilla, who's always on Uncle Sheriff shit list, right? I'm just joking, brother. Don't worry about it. Blunder Corp, AJ Easy, and Joshua Mallory. Good morning, everybody.
All right, guys. Before we get into it, Assassino, we'll give a shout out to a couple of our friends over there on TikTok. First things first, I have to say what's up to my boy Commodity Kings and Frankie Bumps, my paisan. What's going on, brother? Hope everyone's having a fantastic one. Danger Carlene. Oh, okay, watch out for that one. Void Agent. We got Paul in the chat. Coffee Girl. Obviously, we have to give a shout out to our moderator, Bravely. Always in the chat, doing his work, doing his thing. Sam, aka Bullock. We have Tata. What's up, everyone? Dragon Fluff and Chicken Stuff. Couple more. Ed the Traveler, Brightside, Lucky. John Parnell, what's up? Apex Media, Mike 206, Leanne, sorry, not Lean. It's a little easy over here. IKA, Jason, BB, Dumpling and Family, CEO,
I heard.
And we got Iceman. All right, I never knew Drake was in the chat. All right, guys, you know what time it is. VinFast reported Q2 momentum, delivering more than 70,000 EVs globally, up 96% year over year. First half deliveries reached 129,000 vehicles, up 78%, reinforcing the company's growth trajectory across its expanding EV portfolio. By mid-year, VinFast had already achieved approximately 43% of both its 2026 4W and 2W delivery targets, putting the company firmly on track across both growth engines. Fantastic stuff. No problem. Thank you, Assassino. All right, guys, let's get right into things. Now, bright and early, it was, okay, we're going to figure this out right now. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty and the detail. Sharif's like, Joe, look at this. I'm like, oh, nice. This is at $103. Instead, what am I doing? I'm preparing stuff for you guys. We've got to work on the upgrades and downgrades. I post up at 102. Next thing you know, this guy's like, good job, Joe. I'm like, for what? I pull up the chart.
I thought he punched. I literally, because the line was on the chart.
It was line. The order was there. Yeah. The order was there. It never got filled. So I'm like, oh, what the heck? Goes up $28. So I get a nice little move right here, okay? It's $2.30. The day could have been done off of 30 seconds worth of trading. But need not. This is something that we get into. Here's SpaceX. This one happened to work for us off the lows. Small size, but it was a nice little top up to the day. But I'm not done just yet. Sometimes it's best when you're up to just step up, walk away, enjoy the show, and let other people trade. Instead, we get into this bunch of tomfoolery over here, and then we end up giving back our whole entire day and then some, as MRNA decided to go on an absolute parabolic run. And I went short at the high as well too, $149. It then ripped, and I'm like, okay, I'm out. And then I seen Sean go short, and that's when I was like, hey man, don't do it. The tape is crazy right now, and I can't even get up to $150 on my options chain. It ended at $110, and at that point, I'm like, you know what? That's it. Also, we were talking about some of the contracts bright and early this morning. The $65 contract, a staggering 3,500% return, just like that. It went from $1 something all the way to $5,900. That is insane. Stay away from it. The options premiums are elevated. There's an immense amount of implied volatility priced into these contracts, and the chances of you being highly successful are pretty low just due to the fact that if you're buying them in increased volatility, we know what our Vega does. You're gonna, day by day, after it slowly cools down, your implied volatility, that is, you lose money to that alone, not even theta, okay? So just be really cautious when you're trading Moderna, guys.
All right, man. It's a very unique day in that I don't like anything at the moment. Usually we're starting off pretty strong, man. The small caps have really been in play. But you're going to see here my chart, there's nothing that great. Everything, that is on the chart at the moment is above the volume weighted average price, but, structure is quite ugly on all of them. So I do apologize. I've got nothing ready. TNON, I'm going to keep my eye out on that just because it's up 180% and it's holding somewhat of prior area of support around $13. We're still below this double top at around 16.5, so I don't want to punch in until we get above that. I'm also keeping an eye here on RDAC. I like it, but we're substantially below the high of the day at 22.30. I do like the fact that we did take out that pre-market high during regular trading hours, albeit we took it out and then halted down. Never really a great signal there. But you have to keep an eye out that halt level, which is around 18.75, 19-ish. I say keep an eye out on it because these intraday halt levels tend to act as areas of both support and resistance. So TNON, RDAC, looking a little bit better. Since we started this there's nothing to trade soliloquy. Keep your eye on that CYPH as well, sub $1, 97 pennies. It could be a different trade north of the dollar. This one had a really nice move yesterday. Not parabolic, but consistently higher highs and higher lows. Today, decidedly breaching that 84 penny area, but I want to mention that it's on less volume. So keep your eye out on that, and we're awfully close to the dollar. We're going to pause for a second. I think Adara's got news at the big desk.
Trump is speaking to reporters outside, and he just said, quote, Scott's Miracle-Gro is a great company. As such, Scott's Miracle-Gro is trading higher. Back to you.
Yeah, all those people that got the Trump bump there, man. Good on you. We'll keep an eye out on that. All right, so continuing on here, Assassino, if we can go through the different names that we have on, ASTL and C-Cup. How many times have I traded C-Cup, would you say?
A good amount.
A good amount.
Yeah.
It shows you how much I care about what these things do. I didn't know this thing was a leverage ETF for Circle.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
Care.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care.
That's crazy.
I just saw it by accident. I was trying to differentiate the gappers today on my scanner from the leverage ETFs and from the actual gappers. I'm like, oh, hey, C-Cup's back.
I didn't know it was that either.
Neither did I, brother. Neither did I. But there, you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Circle, 200% of the daily performance. It's not inverse. It is just direct. Anyway, the gapper that I'm keeping the closest watch on, I would say, is YJ. Even though structure here is crap, it has a bit of a range. I'd say, since failing at that 930 level, right at 930, it's been $5 as a resistance very clearly and 4 as support. So you play that range until it either breaks out or breaks down. There are signs that sellers are selling at lower and lower levels. Case in point, look at that 9:55, 10 o'clock candle. It makes it up to 5. However, 10:50, 10:55, we don't quite make it up there. We make it up to 490. By the same token, we got lower at 10:25 than we did at 11:05. So we have higher lows, but by the same token, we have lower highs. So YJ to me seems like, I don't want to say a safe bet. There's nothing safe, man, about trading small caps. That's why we always pound the table on risk management. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trade YJ just for now because I don't like anything else. And we're going to trade it as a range, adding into that 4, and then wetting the beak in the high 4s into 5. And, you know, always, as always, saving a piece for the dream, lest this one break up above 5 and not having any shares. So that's trouble there. ZSTK, says Brian, ZSTK. Let's bring that in. Yeah, it's halted up. But Brian, it is a little bit light on volume, but I do see what you're saying. And it was all over the map before that halt up, right? Got to 270, dropped to 152, halted back up at 274. It just seems a little dangerous here, ZSTK. So I'm less inclined to want to trade that. Chaz, so you're saying the same thing, ZSTK on your charts, unless you did it on purpose. It was on purpose, brother, because the volume, and I'm not liking the zigzaggy nature of the price action. But I see what you guys are saying, man. I mean, it's halted at 274. It's the high of the day. Who can complain about that? It's just, to me, it hasn't done enough volume. It's sporadic. The trend is hard to decipher, right? I'd like to see the price action develop a little bit more, you know, before we throw our hat into that ring. But I get it. I get it. We may have to look at some MRNA at some point, or some of these leveraged mRNA names, MRNX, MRNY. There's plenty. So we'll be looking at those too, Joey.
Good stuff. Oh, Los Pollos. This was I didn't grab that. I think that was Katina Man here. I'm not. Oh, that's still wrong. 7115. That's Sean. I had SpaceX earlier today, and then obviously MRNA were the only 2 names here today. Let's pull up the options chain on this bad boy. I can't even scroll any higher past this $120 strike price. I mean, it's insane price action. Let's find out where we opened up at exactly, or even in the pre-market. So right at 6:45 this morning, we'll go with the $63 strike price, and then we'll just all have the slight feeling of FOMO. We'll go up to $63 as we watch the appreciation within this specific contract itself. Not very liquid at this moment, which I find kind of odd, but anyways, it doesn't even matter. Oh, cool. We close at $2. Actually, let's zoom in here and get an actual precise measurement. We'll make this a little bit bigger, and then we'll get involved into a little bit more, because this is nuts. Even after the open, it decided to go nuts. Oh, 4,300%. Cool. Yeah, all right. That was good times, wasn't it? $2.16 all the way up to $9,500. So you're paying $216, and then bang, in the span of a couple hours, $9,500 just like that. So yeah, I mean, some pretty crazy stuff. It's fun to watch it. More difficult to catch those style of moves, because unless you're some form of insider, then you're not most likely going to be able to have the ability to take advantage of that. I seen someone in the chat mention that they sold some of their Moderna a couple of days ago, and then sure enough, this happens, man. Hey, it's not the first time, won't be the last time that the market moves without you. Other than that, guys, we're getting the pullback now. You can see we had a peak of $163. We're now down to $138.33. That was a nice move, but this congestion of price action right here is what really got me. And I had the long initially, so long, and then we go short, flip it, we take some off. I go long again, and then I'm like, oh no, what am I doing? Breaks down. As soon as this candle, this 1 minute candle opened up on top of $144, I'm like, uh-oh, got out. Tried the long again, and then boom, off to the races it went. So yeah, most definitely a tougher one. The average true range has expanded, so the volatility within the underlying asset is most definitely upticks. Be cautious of that, ladies and gentlemen, because you can most definitely find yourself into some trouble like I did today. Check out the volume yesterday on MRNA on the options chain. I can't. You actually can't check the volume from previous days. Unless there's a different way, let me know. But if the contract expired, then there's no way of going back in time. It's not like actual technical analysis here. So unless you guys know another way, I personally don't. As soon as the options contract goes away or the expiration cycle is in the past, it's in the past. There's no pulling that old data back up unless you have some form of feature. But Bitcoin, a lot of people are asking us about Bitcoin this morning. Hey, this looks pretty strong if you ask me, right? Like, we had this base at $35. Bang, congratulations. Now starting to break out. But the most important thing and I believe we should take note of this here throughout the intraday session, look at the volume supporting the move. It's insane. It's a lot of volume stepping in, so we can classify this as a genuine move, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get some form of pullback, which I'm going to be looking for, and then maybe we get a continuation of the day. Is this going to be a complete narrative or sentiment shift? No, I don't necessarily think so, but I could also be wrong. Waiting for VWAP here on IBIT.
All right, there's one that's moving here. It could be good, but we shall see. I think the volume just stepped in. Who called this out? Wick James called it out. Shout out to my man Wick James, GDC. Look, not bad. Let me just throw this on the side chart. GDC. All right, so right into VWAP it goes, which is a little bit below the $0.50. I can't quite see that on my scanner yet, so I don't know what the spread is. 245, current candle low, 242, candle high, 270, day high, 290, but it's telling me 95 here, so I can't square that circle. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that one. I don't mind trading GDC over here, but it'll have to maintain the volume. It'll have to maintain the price action above VWAP, and so far it is. Back into 260 it goes. Let's put on GDC on a trading screen. GDC, what is this on the NQ? Yeah, okay. So wow, it's all over the place. It was just at 60, now it's back at 46. So 3 3/4 million shares of volume coming in. Let's give this one the old college try. I'm going to give it to 38, and if it holds up, fantastic. What do we got? We got 50 there. Okay, so we'll take some out possibly at 58. We'll see if we can get some here as well and into some area highs. We'll see if this one wants to hold up. Start off with a smaller position here on GDC, so long as it holds above VWAP. And well, for now anyway, it has to hold current candle low. Current candle low, as I mentioned, is 42. So into 57, let's see if we can get some profit here in the 60s for what the situation is going to be on GDC. I'm also in YJ. I've got one profit taker. I'm looking at building a position though. As I mentioned, I want to trade this as a range, right? There's a $4 support, $5 resistance. I'm going to continue to look at it from that lens until it gives me a reason to look at it otherwise. There goes GDC. All right, into 69 it goes. Good luck, good luck. Where's my man Ozan? 70. We're looking for more. 75, 74 there. Didn't take out my order. There it is. Okay, here we go. We're ripping up. Big move, big move. High day, 283 here on GDC. Looking for more. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now and set up at 94. I want to see what this one does at 3. Are we going to make a beeline in 3? Because currently the 5-minute candle is a lower high than the prior bar. Prior bar on the 5 is the day high, right? So we need to clear that, or at least hold current candle low to hold trend, right? So that's what I'm keeping my eye on right now on GDC. It's not great, but it's not bad. I think if we make a beeline through 3, this will elicit a lot more traders, right? Because it'll have done a couple of things. One is to trade de novo. It's coming in with new volume intraday. Didn't trade in the pre, didn't trade at the open in the way that it's trading now. And number 2, it'll take out a key whole dollar level. Like this one already started above $2. So we're kind of stuck in between already the $2 or the whole dollar level that we established on the day. And now we haven't been able to clear a whole dollar, which is 3. So this one gets me a lot more excited if we can clear 3. Then if we clear 3, I'm going to start thinking 5. So that's my look right now on these bad boys. Let's see how this all pans out, Joey.
Good stuff. All right, electric passions. Let's pull this up. So what I'm seeing here is that we're running into a little bit of issues with a couple of things. So you're saying expiring this Friday, right? So I am getting cool expiring Friday. Now, what we can identify is, and I think it's one of the most obvious things, is that you're at the money strike price right now, $8.33. You have an average price of $1.30. They're now worth 65 cents. So we've lost half their value. You're thinking about rolling over into a further date, which would head us over to $8. If you're looking for 149 days, you're going to have to pay an additional debit. But there's a way that we can reduce our debit by establishing some form of credit. And we can write some of these contracts up at $11, which I believe is completely reasonable. And if your thesis starts to work out really well, then you can just buy these back. So you'll be collecting 60 cents here. So that will reduce your debit, or you can go down a strike price and collect more than double, reducing your your debit by almost half as well too. All right, so you can take that, write down your game plan. You can always just create a bull call spread, which will reduce the cost of the trade, but you've already lost a little bit on it. Don't forget, liquidity is going to be a massive factor here, and there's big time liquidity issues here on AGEN. So I don't know if you're willing to just accept it for what it is, maybe take the loss and then find something that's more liquid. Unless you have a really bullish thesis on this name, there's no point in really fighting something that may not be providing what specifically you're looking for. Now, from a daily standpoint, it doesn't look too bad. I think at this pace, to be honest with you, Electric, is that when you break through this $9 marker. All right, that's just my opinion, right? That's some TA. We've seen this through multiple intraday chart patterns. You have multiple tests of this level. So you definitely, in my opinion, would want to give yourself a little bit more time in regards to the thesis panning out and working for you. Now, as I still have MRNA on our chart, on my chart, I don't know why, it's because I just don't have enough risk parameter in order to take a couple more attempts on this bad boy. Shreve, before we send it off, do you have anything else you want to touch?
Yeah, of course, we're printing here, man.
Yeah, there we
There goes GDC through $3. It's a new high of day of 305. We have the $0.50 on. We're looking for more. I want to see a decided break above 3 and a hold, right? Simple as that. We want it ideally, make it up 3 1/4, 3 1/3. Show us that 3 is the real deal, and then we'll start piling in at $3. But right now, 3 is resistance until it isn't. So we're going to continue to watch that. We'll be updating you in the chat regarding our position, regarding our look, while Adara and is it Raheem? I don't know. While Adara is doing the interview at the big desk, so we'll send it up to them now.
Very excited to have on here with us not one, but 2 special guests. Each representing 2 different companies that have an exciting catalyst together. We've got Surin Ajarapu, who's the chairman of Flash Sports and Media Holdings. You can actually find them on the NASDAQ under the ticker FLZH. We also have Ahad Bai, who's the CEO and co-founder of Bongo Holdings, PTE. So really great to have you both on today. How are you guys doing this afternoon?
Pretty good, Andrea. Thank you.
What about you?
Doing great. Thank you. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, pleasure to be here to talk with you guys. So, Surin, I'll start with you. You guys have signed a term sheet, you over at Flash, to acquire 51% of Bongo. So why Bongo, and what does this acquisition actually give your company that you didn't have before?
Sure. That's a great question, Andrea. Adara, sorry. Why Bongo? The reason is they have a live pipes, meaning they're producing distributing the content today in Bangladesh, almost close to around 20 to 30 million content viewers there. We would like to bring our Flash sports content through those user base, literally, whether it's in Bangladesh or worldwide. That was the main reason why we want to access those pipes to get our content through.
So I'll stick with you here, Surin. You've made cricket a major part of your strategy here through this acquisition. Why do you believe these rights are currently undervalued? And I guess where do you see them going forward, even like 5 years from now?
Sure, pretty good question. If you look at it today, primarily the cricket leagues are focused on a fewer leagues like IPL, which is valued almost like a $6 billion media rights alone. That's really choking at the top, right? We don't want to fight at the top. We want to go to the next level, next tier level content producers, which is the LPL, like a Lanka Premier League is our first asset that we produced recently, and then expand into other countries like Malaysia, Singapore, and Zimbabwe, where there's no T20. T20 is a short version franchisee cricket, but it's a TV format where viewers can watch the 2 to 3 hours and get out of the TV when they want to go. That was the reason we entered into cricket. Of course, the cricket is the starting point. Then the ladder is up, right? You can grow, and as these content growing other countries, you can grow along with other sports.
That makes a lot of sense. I want to bring in Ahad here. So just give us a sense of Bongo's scale today. What's the size of your audience, and what kind of content are people already coming to you to get or to come for?
Yeah, for sure. So we started the platform to basically be like a Netflix type platform for the Bangla audience worldwide. We've grown into being a consumer platform where we focus on sports and entertainment, and we have a B2B platform where we actually help content creators monetize and distribute the life cycle of content. which is a big gap in the market as you're moving from traditional media into the digital world. A lot of these content creators, TV stations, and content producers lack the skills and the technology to make that transition. So our B2B platform helps them with that. On our consumer platform, we reach more than 75 million followers on our socials, and then we have our streaming platform as well. And on our B2B platform, we reach more than 300 million subscribers across South Asia, and we work with strategic partners like YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. In terms of the content, it's a blend of movies, TV shows, entertainment, and sports. And of course, whenever there's live sports, especially cricket, the main sport being cricket, we see a massive uptake in viewership and engagement. And we've seen from very early that live cricket really drives audiences. And you have audiences who are loyal, who are coming back, and who will watch for hours and hours at a go. So we've seen that cricket really moves the needle.
So I want to pose this next question to both of you here. Do you think, I guess, what would you say is the big opportunity here with this deal? Is it that Flash owns or acquires the content while Bongo gives you the distribution to take it to a massive audience? I guess I'll start with you, Suren.
Sure. First of all, the Flash is all about owning the content and distributing through our own pipes. That was the reason, like owning the content and distribute is the key why we want to differentiate with other sports and media company. If you look at it, ESPN back in the 70s, right? That was the first. Nobody unheard about NFL playing 24/7. That's the concept that we're trying to bring in here, but it's through the cricket. And cricket is almost like 2.5 billion fan base worldwide. And it's slowly coming in LA 28. The Olympics are coming to United States. Right there after that, NCAA is planning and introducing the cricket. The audience in US want to give that cricket sports, like it's the number 3 in the worldwide sport. Like if you look at the soccer, that was started in 90s, that's coming slowly to US. Now you saw the recently FIFA, 7 billion people worldwide watch, right? We want to have that cricket content to the United States where the audience are going to come.
Yeah, I guess what would you argue that Bongo is bringing to the table here, of course, with this deal?
Yeah, for sure. So I think for us, it's very interesting because where Bongo's strength is number one in the South Asian market. We have access to a huge audience base, and we have strategic relationships in cricket. We've worked with the International Cricket Council and a few of the major leagues focused on the South Asian market. And what's really interesting for us is the fact that Flash is owning IP. It owns the actual leagues themselves, not the streaming rights for the leagues. And owning the actual IP is a huge value. We have the audience in South Asia. We also have the technology. So through this partnership, we're also helping build out the streaming infrastructure for Flash so that they can take the content to millions of people. So I think the synergy between what Flash is doing with the IP, access to the North American markets, and actual ownership of the leagues, merged with our existing user base and the technology that we bring to the table, I think we can really fast track the acceleration and expand, taking his leagues to a massive audience. So I think it's exciting.
So I'd like to add more to it. If you look at today's content, either it's flowed through the Willow TV, which is like $5 million revenue, or a Sling, but they don't have any of their own IP. That's what we want to differentiate. We want to bring our own IP and distribute it. And then you can replicate market after market, the same thing. Like once you have the pipe, whatever you throw the content to those pipes is going to be the leg up for us.
Yeah, and that's an important point of clarification. So thank you for making it. You mentioned there, Ahad, acceleration and fast tracking. So I want to kind of zoom out and just ask both of you. I'll start with Suren. Where do you guys see this combination of forces here with Flash and Bongo taking the company in, we'll say 6 months, just from an investing standpoint, and then even further, I guess, what is your dream for this collaboration?
Sure. If you look at it, I just want to throw an example. Like if you have a LA Lakers, most recently sold, right? It's almost like Jerry Buss bought back in the 70s or 50 years ago, like for $25 million. But he sold it for almost like $12 billion recently. Yeah. Like if you bring that similar concept to the cricket, KKR recently sold at $1.8 billion, which is started 20 years ago, which is like 14% of that what they've actually sold when compared to the Lakers, right? The reason why I brought that up is how we are at the front end of this chain that's coming in, the 2.5 billion fan base worldwide, how you can bring that cricket to the US through the LA Olympics and whatnot. Why the partnership with Bongo is the audience that they are already catering, which is Bangladesh, almost 180 million people, Of course, the Pakistan is under the 290 million people that are, if I can give them the leagues all across these markets that can produce the content and distribute through our pipes is the advantage why I'm partnering with Bongo.
And I guess where do you see this collaboration taking your company from an investment standpoint going forward as well?
Yeah, I think what's really interesting for us is we have a strength in the South Asian markets. There's a massive South Asian diaspora in North America where they don't have access to the content, and obviously the ARPU is significantly higher. So I think that as the low-hanging fruit is taking what we have, merging together with Flash's IP and pushing that into the North American markets. I think that's immediately a very quick revenue expansion that we can focus on. And the second thing is, which is very exciting for us, is the fact that with the audience that we existing have, I think that we can really help grow the value of the IP significantly fast. Because as you mentioned, if you talk about IPL and some of these leagues, the value of these leagues are extremely, extremely high. Even relative to global sports, what would IPL rank in terms of?
Yeah, they're number one. The media rights are sold at $6 billion.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is this is something that most people don't realize, like how valuable cricket actually is. Because in North America, most people focus on so many other sports, right? Yeah. They don't realize how massive a property cricket actually is, how fast growing it is, how many countries worldwide it's available in. And every country either has or is starting to build, especially with Flash's support, starting to build their own T20 franchises or their leagues. I think the potential value in the IP of those leagues as they all build out is, I don't think people realize the potential there. And that's really what we're excited about, is the merge of our audience, our technology, and his roadmap into acquiring and building out these leagues. The value of the IP that can be built there is very, very high.
Exciting stuff. Thanks again here to Surin Ajarapu, chairman of Flash Sports and Media Holdings, and Ahad Bai, CEO and co-founder of Bongo Holdings. You can find Flash on the NASDAQ, trading under the ticker FLZH. Thank you very much to both of you for being here and shedding some light on your company's deal.
Sure. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Dara, and the guys there for the interview. And I can tell, I can just personally speak to it myself. I see a lot more cricket being played in baseball fields than I did growing up. So the fact of the matter is, it is a burgeoning sport. That's a fact now. Whether you want to invest and make money on it, that is up to you, right? All right, let's get right down to work here. We're in a couple of positions. What is that?
It's a ringtone.
All right. It was a good ride here for GDC, but all good things have to come to an end. So it failed. I stopped out here at 55s, having entered at 50. This one looks like a Christmas tree retracement. It's below 10 EMA. It's below VWAP. It's not tradable under my system at the moment. YJ, we're involved in this one. We've got 18s, or sorry, 24s on. It's showing me 18s. I'm trading this as a range until it shows me that it's no longer a range. So hanging out and seeing what this one has to offer. I've also weaseled into CDTG. Tight stop here through 4. There's generally a buyer at 4, but we're into the high of the day, and the spread is freaking ridiculous. 0.1 on the bid, 12s on the ask, 11 on the ask, whatever. So it's going to be hard to execute here. Now, if you're going to trade CDTG and you're using stop limit orders, you need to use, just like that. Oh, got stopped out. You need to use limit orders with a wide spread, meaning that the triggering price and the limit price have to have a big variance, because if you don't put that variance, you're not going to get stopped out. It's going to blow through your stop, and that's going to be trouble. Unless you want to use a market stop, and then that's just like anybody's guess what's going to happen there. So that's what I'm looking at right now. We just got stopped out of CDTG, so that'll be the first L on the day, but we're still keeping a close eye here, Joey, on YJ.
Good stuff. Yeah, guys, thanks for pointing this out, because we were looking at this not too long ago around like $37. IBIT popped all the way up to $39.50. Like, we're starting to see this really expand. And I mean, the volume is supporting it. What we will do is we'll zoom out and we'll head over to a higher time frame to see if we can identify a couple of things. And what I've already noticed here is that, just considering we're seeing a massive volume spike and increase, I don't want to call it too early. You don't want to count your wins, but we are on the backside of a trend right now, and this could have been a potential temporary base for Bitcoin itself, 32.57. Now with a high of around $40 here today, man, oh man, we haven't seen that price expansion in this underlying in quite some time. Now IBIT, we're going to have to look to get involved, but we had the pullback. It was really, really quick. And then sure enough, we're starting to appreciate in price once again. Let's send it off to the desk. We'll talk some more Bitcoin momentarily.
I want to talk some Bitcoin too, Joe. I'm not seeing any news on this. I want to clarify, but we were supposed to have a event here, a meeting at the White House with crypto and prediction market executives. That was supposed to be a summit. I don't have any updates on that. I know at 2:30 p.m. Trump is supposed to deliver remarks alongside tech leaders, so unclear if that's related or if that's replaced the other event. But either way, I've just seen that apparently Bitcoin is having its best day since February 2026. So nice look there. If I get any more details, I'll keep you posted.
All right, yeah, so there we go. We look to take a little bit here for the break of this high, but it doesn't seem to be the narrative. Could be an absolute bad trade. You can see we're out 20 cents out of the money right now at this given point. So yeah, definitely a tougher look here. Let's see if we can get this to turn around for us. I believed at this pace that we were going to go head towards the high of the day. So let's see if we can hold on to this a little bit longer. We're also long some NVDA, which is slowly starting to cook up for us as well too, Sharif.
Cool, man. YJ just bounced off $4, taking some prints here, looking for a move. There it goes, 27s, 28s. We've got 13s on. We've got a big position on, by the way, because we built into the position. So hence, well, we're going to take profits here. Looking for a move into the 30s, right? So I'd like to see this one range into $5, right? Even if it doesn't make it all the way to 5, cool beans. At least get into like 475 or something. Here we go. Watching into 27, looking for a bigger move into 30. There's another profit taker into 12s. Looking for a 33. We don't even have anything in the high 30s, like a goofy. So let's post, and then we're also going to post in the low, I'm going to say mid 40s, right? So we'll set up some beak wetters there. Now, I did get stopped out, sadly, of CDTG, given the spread, but I don't want to get back into this one, even if it is holding 4, and that's because of the spread is a concern for me, at least the way I trade. So, you could trade this quite well, right, given perhaps your trading risks and parameters, but the way that I trade, I have to trade not like I'm trading at home, but I'm trading at a prop floor, so managing risk on spready names is kind of part and parcel of that. So I won't be jumping into this one unless I really see something a lot better. Just before we go to the desk, I want to mention one that I kind of was dismissing earlier on, QTEX. And it was south of the volume weighted average price. It did a Christmas tree kind of pattern there, green on one side, red on the other, drop below VWAP. What it did do well, though, was put in these higher lows. And now it's back above VWAP, and it's got a local area of resistance at 122. So if we can get above that, then we're within throw stone away of 129, which is the double top. Of course, the high of the day is 135, but that's, I'll submit to you, where the majority of the sellers start coming in right there. So I want to keep an eye here on QTEX. I think this one could be good. And there goes YJ into the 30s. We're looking for more. I'm feeling greedy today, Joey.
Oh,
yeah, I am.
Oh.
Bun it. Let's go.
Bun it.
Yeah, bun everything right now, bro. You don't even know how I'm feeling right now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I don't even know why, because I didn't eat my oatmeal before the gym.
Man.
I was angry as hell the entire time when I was there. All right, let's send it up to Juan and Adara.
Go trash.
Juan, did you hear about the new signing?
Yeah, we know that Bitcoin here is having its best day since February 2025, certainly to the upside. But how did the European market do at its close, which occurred a mere 8 minutes ago? Here to take us through that close is one.
Thank you, Adara. So European markets trading marginally higher towards the close. Energy gains offsetting that of inflation worries, as well as muted sentiment. We see the stock 600 marginally below at 0.02, especially after their steepest decline yesterday. They're stabilizing for the time being. But moving over to Germany, the DAX up marginally, not really much, pretty much flat. A lot of cautious trading in Germany with geopolitical tensions causing energy disruptions as well as inflation concerns. Tech, financials, retailers were the hardest hit in Germany, contrasting gains in the auto sector. So we see Infineon down more than 3%, Rheinmetall down by nearly 3%, led the losses in Frankfurt. Volkswagen up by about 2.5%, topped the gains, along with Porsche and BMW, both more than a percentage higher. Over in France, luxury and energy stocks led the tape in Paris, with L'Oreal and Louis Vuitton both up by nearly 2%. Total Energies up by 1.3%, while Stellantis was the day's biggest performer, up by 6.2%. The biggest decliner in Paris would be Estée Microelectronics, down by 4.3%, tracking weakness, of course, in the global tech sector. Something interesting to note in France, their 10-year haute yield surpassed that of 4.10%, a peak since October 2008. And that's driven by, of course, a global bond yield sell-off as well as inflation concerns. In the United Kingdom, UK inflation for July rose to 2.9% year on year from 2.6% in June. It's in line with market expectations due to higher energy costs, of course. We also had news from Smith & Nephew. They were down by 3.7% today, also the biggest decliner as well. And that's off news that their CFO, John Rogers, resigned from the company to take up residence in the United States. Energy and mining shares supported the tape in the United Kingdom, with BP and Shell up by more than 1%, Anglo American up by 4%, and Rio Tinto up by 3.4%, while Glencore was also up by 4%. Now, traders will definitely be looking out for the FOMC minutes later today and how they will react to it tomorrow. Any hawkish commentary, especially on geopolitical energy concerns, could raise Eurozone yields further, pressuring that of tech and real estate. Also, there's going to be some speeches from ECB, the European Central Bank officials, that will be watched closely. Their chief economist, Philip Lane, highlights that current high Eurozone inflation, currently at 3%, traders will, of course, be monitoring potential repricing in September rate hike odds.
And keep an eye here at 2 p.m. for, as one mentioned, that release of the FOMC minutes for the July meeting. Then at 3:30 p.m., you can join us with one to get that Asian market update. In the meantime, we'll send you back over to the guys.
The segment's incomplete. We're going to bring in Juan. We're going to talk a little Arsenal, baby. All right, let's do our work here, Juan. Did you see the signing of Esri,
Konsa.
50 million quid from Villa? What do you make of this trade or this purchase, seeing, as Saliba and stuff is
Yeah, it's a good transfer. It's a good transfer. When I saw it, I was like, bam, we've got a defense, we've got a midfield. Now we just need an awesome striker, or an additional awesome striker. And I think look at the Community Shield. We thrashed Man City 3-0, okay? We're setting up for business this season. It's going to be back-to-back wins. Let's hope for it.
That's my man.
Let's go.
And the thing is, too, we beat City with Mascara at the back. Like, look, I'm not trying to dunk on our friend Mascara. He puts in work. He's genuinely, he works hard. It's just working hard doesn't always result into results, right?
I mean, he was up against Haaland, of all people, and he performed so well in the World Cup. So I'm looking forward to this season coming up soon. About 2 weeks? 2 weeks' time.
I was looking at one of my guys in the chat there, Adam James Abroad. He's a City fan. It's okay. Not everybody's perfect, right? But he was saying, even in the chat, that Arsenal's going to run the table this time, and it's going to be like a 10-point variance, a gap between first and second. I'm not going to speak to that, but one, I want to ask your opinion. Who do you think actually has a shot at 2 and 3? Is it United, which I'm taking as the dark horse this time? I see you, girl, and that they're really actually good in the second half of the season last year. I'm taking United, and I think I'm actually going to gamble on Chelsea a little bit this year. Maybe actually they finally get their act together. Who do you have?
I mean, based on the transfer season, the transfer window shows potential in terms of teams trying to make a bid for the Premier League this season. So United, definitely one of them. Chelsea, one of them. And I think Man City might be top 5 potential, but without Pep, I think it's going to be a long, long road.
Exactly. And think about it, you got to adopt an entirely new system, right? Like this Enzo Mascara guy, like they may or may not. And you know how it is too, Juan. Like you come in, the manager wants to bring in their own players. They need a couple of transfer windows to kind of get that done. So we may not see like the full potential of what he has. And to be fair to him, he's a great coach, and they didn't really give him a chance at Chelsea either, right? Like they dismissed him pretty quickly.
We'll see how it goes.
Hey, there's my man. All right, guys. Done the segment for today. Oh, there's my man. Adam DeLuce. Pep is generally a 5 to 6 points easily. Mascara is going to need time. I do agree with that, Adam. Well put there. The reason I say that is because when you come into a team that's been run by one dude for the last 10 years and who has his fingerprint on all aspects of the team, you know, from the back end, the administrative, the players, like you're going to need time, of course, to kind of have your imprint there. So I do agree with that. Just before we send it to your boy Joey Opsh, we did quite well here on YJ, not as well as I'd like. It's coming back down now. If it comes anywhere near my entry at 410, the trade is over. We're going to get out of that. But what I'm watching now is a break here on QTEX. It's back above the volume weighted average price, right? I'm going to give this one the old college try. If it loses area low, in my humble submission, area low is the 1130 candle on the 5, the low of which is about 113, 112, I'm out. But I also want to bring your attention here to AZI. I was trying to write this in the chat while they were doing the Euro segment. It kept changing my my text it kept changing it automatically and putting today. But AZI, breakout above the $1.50. I'm stupid. I should have been more alive to this flat top break. Ascending wedge pattern here through 1.5, and it absolutely ripped up in a beelined up to 165, showing 158 now. I'd like a retest possibly of the mid to low 150s to test former area of resistance and then see if we can kind of work in back into this one, Joe.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, I mean,
I like that Mexico City manual.
Yeah, I want to know.
I
I like that one too. Thank you very much for that super chat. Corporate crypto crunch, 80% of public treasuries submerged. All right, let's see what's read. Yeah, there's a little bit of a catalyst here in regards to the crypto space. Now, as for this trade here, we just get out break even. Same thing with this NVDA. So I'll tell you the nature in which I'm sitting in right now is there's a difference between trading to put on wins and then trading not to lose. I'm trading not to lose right now, and that's just not the way. So that's why I'm going to sit on my hands. We had the perfect entry. Pulls back a little bit. There's no reason why we shouldn't be still within this trade. And then as for Bitcoin, I'm going to wait for a pullback and then maybe look to get some form of continuation. I also have my eyes on the NASDAQ, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, so we'll keep our eyes out on this one. Any form of a pullback here, I did want us right at the volume-weighted average price. 72.35 would have been ideal. Boom, we hammer that one. We would have been nicely in the money, but that's not necessarily the case, and that's hindsight, which is tends to have good vision. Don't forget that. Yeah, same. Like sitting and watching for now already made good this morning. Yeah, man, honestly, that's all you need to do. If I were you, just lock it down, head into your sim account or whatever it may be. Keep those profits on a day like today, that's for sure. Robinhood apparently is moving. Let's pull that bad boy up and see what we got going on. No longer a shareholder of this company, full disclosure. But hey, man, we had a wild ride on it. AGEN is moving. So there it is. Electric, it's continuing to climb, man. I do believe you're going to break that key pivot. But let's take a look at Robinhood and how some of these other memory names have been performing, considering we had high single-digit losses yesterday. First things first, Robinhood. All right, not too bad. Back up to 98 bucks. Probably moving in tandem here with Bitcoin. So, I mean, not a horrible look. Consolidated base, and then bang, off to the races it goes. So really good call out there. Banks are down. JPM down almost 2% here today. Ooh, maybe do we buy a little bit more? Or is this an official trend break? All right, so we did buy some more earlier last week or earlier this week. I forget what it is, via the CDR. But we've been buying this up since like the high 290s. So it's been really good to us over the past couple of months without any form of questioning. Now, if we look for the rotation, wow, Chipotle Mexican Grill Sharif, just in case you didn't know, was up 4%. And then we also have Kava here. Wow, Kava Group up 7%. Wow, up 7% here, so not too bad of a look. Man, there goes the NASDAQ. Why?
Tell him that it's human nature. Why?
Yeah, but no, and seriously, like shout out to MJ though. I don't know, some people like, but I wanted this right at the volume weighted average price. This would have been the trade, and then we're right back in this race, in this rat race here, to see if we can turn things around. I mean, we should have shut it down at 8:30 this morning, but that's not the case, and nor is that the cards that we dealt ourselves. Now, with that being said, we have to deal with them. We have to make a hand. Let's find a good quality trade here.
Make a hand, bro. You got to make that hand, Joey. All right, man. We're in AZI. I'm looking to defend into 60 generally. Let's see how this, I've got the 5-second chart on at the moment. Let's see if we hold structure. We built the position in. We have to hold structure. Ideally, I would have given it to 55 to 50, but I did get in a little bit higher here. So I'm keeping an eye on the 5-second structure, 5-second chart structure, rather than the 5-minute chart structure. So if I stop out, that's fine. I can get back in at around that whole dollar. QTEX, I don't know how I feel about this one. I was looking for a trend hold. It's not breaking down, but it's not exactly, putting in new highs. So we'll see about this one. I still haven't added into this position here on QTEX, so still with the initial position, and we'll see how this circle gets squared, right? So that's my look on AZI and QTEX. Now, I got out of YJ because, well, it didn't even make it up at least halfway into the range, right? We talked about the range being 4 to 5. This one made it up to 440, which we took a print at, right? So we did get top candle there, but it didn't make it up to 450 even, let alone 5s. No point kind of wasting my, my energy on this one. We'll look to some others. So AZI coming back down here into 60. Let's see if it holds structure at around 55. Otherwise, we're going to have to stop out here, Joey.
All right, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. We're at a key support level here in the NVDA. We have the NASDAQ starting to pull back a little bit. I mean, what I'm thinking here, and I don't want to give myself too much analysis paralysis or just have too many factors. You want to try to keep things as simplistic as possible. So what I'm thinking here is, should I post up at the lower end of the range on on the NASDAQ and then find a potential trade? But just because I'm getting involved with it now, does that mean I'm going to change the narrative in which the market has kind of displayed itself over the past week and a bit? No. So it's kind of swaying me away from looking for that continued long here in the overall market. Same thing with NVDA. It's just like what I'm seeing from a price action standpoint, what about my thesis makes it different that, hey, or have any form of factoring into my choice of going long here when for the past hour it's gone sideways and looks like it wants to break down. So those are just some of the thoughts that are running through my head. Now, what I want to see is a pullback on Bitcoin, some forms of indecision around the volume-weighted average price for me to find some form of continuation. At least I'm putting myself in the right place and I believe at the right time. Because if what I'm noticing from before is just sideways price action, why am I going to look for the extended long? May as well go to something that has been strong here today, and I think that's the crypto space. BM&R, MSTR, both up 13%. You have Bitcoin moving here today as well. And then we also have Ethereum up 8%. All right, so I mean, there's other opportunities aside from these chip plays and the overall market. And if we're going to put ourselves in the right place at the right time, I just think I have to head over to this land. Ethereum, ETHA. Man, oh man, it's been a long time.
Joey?
It's been a long time since we've traded Ethereum, ETHA.
That's okay, Joey.
There's nothing wrong with that, brother. Get this pullback. With that being said, we need more data to be displayed, and then we're going to be able to pounce like a tiger.
Like a tiger.
Like a tiger in the wilderness.
In the wilderness.
Yeah, exactly. Not in the jungle. I mean, not in the zoo. Not in the zoo. Zoo is what I meant.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, we're in the zoo. Now we're going to wait for this pullback and see if we can get involved.
You know what I'm going to say, right?
There it goes.
Yeah. What a shock, huh?
Joe.
There goes AZI
man.
into the high of the freaking day. We've got this one on. We added aggressively into that 60 area. I'm looking for more. I want to. It's a 183 high. There it goes again into another area. Freaking money, man. Make me wait for my money. Crazy. There we go. Rip City. Rip City. Now we're looking for a little bit higher. Bless you, Sia. Jeez Louise. All right. No, you're good. You're good. I'm just saying bless you. That's all. All right. Continuing to watch here. 183, 182. Looking for a move into 190s. High of days 88. I'm thinking too. And, you know, I've got to take the opportunity here to RC this. And by RC, I mean when this thing is ripping up, excuse me, I need to be adding on the micro pullbacks. This is where I really need to improve. But I have no structured formula for how to get in on the micro pull. Like I don't have like an if A then B kind of, or if A and B then C kind of situation. So I need to come up with that because I really need to be adding into these winners. I've made it very clear. Obi and I were talking about it on Monday. you know, our biggest winners are the ones where we add into winning positions, and our biggest losers are the ones where we add into losing positions. So if that is the case, then why the hell am I not adding? See, so that's kind of the problem I face. But I'm a structured individual, right? So I need kind of a whole system to kind of get behind to do that. We'll be developing that hopefully, and you know, we'll see exactly what happens with that. So there's a seller here at 88 that we can't shake. That is the high of the day. There's the 88 seller again. They killed him for a moment. They killed him. It looks like, you know, he may have reawoken there.
He respawned.
Yeah. EMS. There's what do they call that thing? The
defibrillator.
The defibrillator. Thank you, my man. That's why. So, you know.
I wouldn't go that far. I just.
Yeah.
Everything's don't stretch it now.
Everything's good, Joey.
Yeah.
So we're continuing to watch. I'm still holding the majority of the position here. So we're printing up a storm here on AZI, and I'm very pleased. But I want to be more pleased above too, Joey.
All right, man. Good stuff. Yeah, one. Don't start this. This nonsense here, brother. All right, we're not getting. No, I'm only messing around with them. Ethereum. We're not getting this pullback that I'm looking for, and I'm not going to chase it this far extended from the volume-weighted average price. Yeah, is it spawn? Is it respawn? And listen, I'm not a gamer anymore, guys. Spawn. You just spawn somewhere else or whatever you guys would like to call it. Jeez, give me a break for a minute, man. We just got rinsed on Moderna. You guys were
I love how you say Moderna.
How do you say it?
Yeah, I'm not dunking on you. I just say Moderna.
Moderna.
You say Moderna.
Okay, it's MADERNA. Moderna. All right, man.
Yeah, it's fun.
I gotta go back to school apparently.
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
you have a unique way of saying things.
I have a unique way of. I have a.
You remind me of my cousin.
Way of a lot of things.
He's so.
But that's how it's spelled though. MODERNA.
I get it. I'm saying that I haven't heard anyone say Moderna except you.
Like Toyota.
Not the wrong thing.
Like
just making
Toyota,
an observation.
Like Toyota and
Toyota. Don't try to say that you say it that way. That's not how you say it.
Toyota.
The beautiful thing about this job is literally everything is recorded.
Dude, I'm not denying anything.
And he said, how'd you say Hyundai again? Hyundai. Yeah, no, that wasn't it. Here we go.
All right,
guys.
come on, man. Let me find a trade here.
Bad, bro.
It's all good. But anyways, in all seriousness, let's see if we get going. Yeah, man, we gotta hyper focus here on the TQs or something along those lines. IBIT still need more data to be displayed in order for us to take a trade up here. But what we do have is an anonymous. It's over, man. You know what I mean? It's over. Yeah, I'm closing the chat, man. See you guys later. Anonymous. Thank you for donation. Must be. No, it would be a little bit bigger. What's up, baby? You gotta go to this view over here. Make sure you have your mic too, Fabian, just in case you wanna. Hop in.
Here we go. New high a day AZI. Here we go. We're looking for the print, man. We're waiting at 93s. We're not getting 93, but is a new high day. Actually, 93 is the high of the day. It just didn't cross. That's why we didn't get it. I don't know what's going on there. Joey just left, so I guess I'm doing the show on my own here. Also, I did add into this bad boy, QTEX. I'm looking for a hold of the 10 EMA. If it loses the 10 EMA, which it really hasn't, since claiming it, I think, at around 11:05, then I'll get out. But for now, it is treating me, well, not well, but it's holding trend-ish. So we want to take this one possibly into that $1.35. If that happens, that'd be great. So we're just going to build a position incrementally into the move down in the 10 EMA. If it loses 10 EMA, we're stopping out. Simple as that. Akash, go trading AZI with you. Man, get it, my man. I love how you're trading it. You're doing the quick scalps like myself. Akash, brother, I'm thinking 2 here. Now, we got $1.93. We haven't broken trend, at least on the 5. So if you look at the 5-minute chart, Akash, every 5-minute candle, essentially, from, I want to say, probably 11:15, maybe 11:10, has held prior bar low. So if you've just based your stop on the 5-minute chart on prior bar low, you haven't been stopped out quite yet. So ride trend, man, until this one gives you a reason to get out. That's kind of what I'm doing here. We're going to keep a close eye here on AZI because I'm not really liking a lot of other things. I know that ZSTK is Rip City, Rip City. For all those who like those multiple halters, I'm just going to bring it in quickly and let you guys know exactly what the price action looks on that bad boy. It is halted again here, as Assassino, at $8.65. It has barely done any volume, but that doesn't matter to you, right? If you're able to get in and get out on the halts and then the resumptions, then you're printing. But for me, I'm going to need to kind of insist that this thing do volume and remain open so that it doesn't get me in trouble lest it halt down. So that's what we're looking at right now. There's another move into 93, and there's that 93 seller again on AZI. Do we take him out this time? There's 94, boom, into the high. That's a new high day. We're looking for 2, get it a cash. And while you're getting it, when I'm getting it, we're gonna send you up to SIA for happening now. Then Neil's got his lesson of the day.
Let's take a look at what the markets are doing before we dive right into what is happening now. The SPY is currently up 0.35%. The triple Qs are up very significantly less, but still tilting a bit towards the green. And the Dow is up 0.26% to be precise. Let's take a look at two tickers that I do want to mention here right now. Now, this might not look like it is doing much. Also, TDS, AD and TDS might not look like they're doing much. However, we did have JPM, and according to JPM, these two companies are poised to climb on a combination of catalysts. And JPM has reiterated overweight ratings on Array Digital, that is AD, Array Digital Infrastructure, as well as Telephone Data Systems, that is TDS. And additionally, we had earlier today KLAR that had been downgraded from to neutral from overweight, and JPM had also lowered its price target to $18 from $22. So you have KLAR that is also down 1.7% on the day. Before we send it back to the guys, let's stop and send it to Neil for his lesson of the day.
Thank you, Sia. Well, this one might end up being obvious, but we're going to say it anyways. You know, oftentimes, like, you can come in and whatever your trading plan was, whatever you thought was going to be in play, you know, most people didn't think when they went to bed last night that Moderna was going to be up 130%. You couldn't have known what was going to happen with treasuries and the reaction that the market was going to have to it, both up and to the downside. But that's where we're at. And sometimes you have to be able to think on the fly. And if you're like myself or a lot of others, that once we had that big move up in the market following the U.S. Treasury announcement, you were looking for opportunities to go long. Now, it's one thing to say, oh, I believe that we're going to retest, and we're going to pull back and retest because profit taker will come in, and then we'll try to catch a bid. And ultimately, you know, this is the cues. Look at it rebound. Maybe it's going to V-shaped recovery. I liked DRAM early. We took one shot, and thankfully, we got out of VWAP to watch it go lower. Now, if I continue on DRAM, which is a stock ETF that I like to the long side, could it have worked? Probably. Like, there's a good dollar move in there. You take it enough times, you try it, you try to find that bid enough, you'll probably capture it. Maybe I take it there and lose, and then there's a nice setup and I played into VWAP. But you'll notice that's not where I tried the long. All morning long, and there was a good, 5-10 minutes in there where I'm not in anything, just waiting, don't see anything that I like to long until you eventually find something. Now, FOMO is going to be a part of it because I'll be the first to tell you, did anybody actually think Bitcoin was as strong as it was? I didn't think we'd break 68,000 today. I was like, pretty simple. Let's just do the scalp trade, because when the market was dying, there were a few things that stood out. Bitcoin, while the market was making those fresh lows, was doing what? Holding higher lows. It did not break its first level of support on the pullback. It didn't even try to retrace the pre-market lows. None of that. It just pulled into VWAP, put in a higher low while the market was weak, and showed you it had relative strength. Gold and silver did the same thing. Here's GLD. Did that show any signs of weakness when the market was weak? No. So if you're looking for a long trade, you've got options out there. You can try to find the bottom in a bunch of things that are looking incredibly weak and hope that eventually they turn and break back out. You get a V shape. Or you can use the weakness in the market to buy the dip on something that is actually strong. For me, it ended up being, I wish it was gold and I wish we'd held Bitcoin longer, but SLV was another example. Okay, so there's 9 o'clock at the open when the market's pulling back in. What does it do? It holds VWAP. There's nothing crazy about this. You don't have to go outside of, for myself or for anyone that looks at like trend strategy or the volume weighted average price, you're not stepping outside of your bounds. You're not breaking any of your rules to try to catch some kind of a long, which is a falling knife in the overall market, in the chip names. Now, if you bounce off those, great. There were plenty of wins out there if you managed to catch the lows. But it's just so much easier to take some time, to take a step back and say, well, maybe the things that I was planning on trading are no longer setting up the way that I anticipated because of what's going on in the market, and go look for and go hunt for better opportunities. And whether it was gold or silver or Bitcoin or ETH, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You could have been trading BMNR and just sort of noticed, hey, as the market's breaking down, this is another thing that refuses to bust the lows. And then when it reclaimed, look at this when it reclaims VWAP. You can't know this is going to happen. Like if I was in BMNR instead of Bitcoin, I'd probably still take VWAP to the prior day high, and then you kind of hope that you're at your desk and ready at 10:30 when everyone's looking at oil futures to watch this breakout and go absolutely ham. But even if you don't see this big of a move happening, you can see the fact that it is not making fresh lows. Lower lows, lower highs, trend down. If you like a bounce, there's almost always something which is looking stronger that you can try to participate in instead of catching the falling knife. It's always great to get the bottom, don't get me wrong, but it's that type of mentality that usually leads traders to the grave instead of trying to hunt for lower hanging fruit. And again, you just don't know what's going to come into play. Did I know I would trade Novavax today? No. Right? Like, Novavax wasn't on my radar. I wasn't even watching this thing until somebody in the chat said, hey, there's another sympathy move here in Novavax as Moderna is starting to break down. I pull up the chart. It's like, well, look at this top. Look at the hard top at 860. I'm like, oh, let me get it in the mids. And then look at this. This does a topping tail right into the high. Like, oh, a topping tail into the same high on a reversion play, I can get some more at 55. So it does the topping tail, we add back into it. Probably should have been right at VWAP, but who cares? And now I'm just looking for the full retrace. You don't know where the opportunities are going to lie, but if they present themselves somewhere other than the names that you either wrote down or thought you'd be focused on, it's okay to go shift and move somewhere else. It's easy. I know it's a lot easier for someone like Sharif with his strategy because he's looking at small cappers. So he's knowing he's going to come into each day bouncing around to something new. But oftentimes, a lot of traders will have, these are the stocks that I look at. This was the plan today. And if you marry that when the market decides we're doing something else, you can get stuck hoping you don't trade or just missing out on easier opportunities. So try to keep it simple. Again, if you caught anything off the lows, you're probably having a good day, but you could make it easier on yourself if you just take a little bit of time, take a step back from all the craziness that's happening in the open range to find relative strength and relative weakness. And if you're looking long, just join relative strength on a weekday. If you're looking short, join relative weakness on a strong day. It just makes things easier for yourself, and it's a heck of a lot less stressful. I haven't even gone to pick up the lunch, so I can't tell you anything about it. But hopefully that helped for everybody. And good luck. Looks like we're getting a V-shaped recovery in the market, so that's a good sign. I like the fact that they bought it back up. But don't forget, we have a bond auction at 1 o'clock. That actually matters today. Take care.
Well said, Neil.
Thank you, brother.
Also, guys, VinFast reported strong Q2 momentum, and they delivered more than 70,000 EVs globally. That is up 96% year over year. In the first half, deliveries alone reached 129,000 vehicles, up 78% year over year. And that certainly reinforces their growth trajectory across its expanding EV portfolio. And by mid-year, guys, VinFast had already achieved approximately 43% of both its 2026 4W and 2W delivery targets, and that puts the company firmly on track across both their growth engines. Shout out to them. All right, out of AZI long ago, it broke structure, so I get out. Simple as that. Also, with QTEX, didn't hold structure, out. Very small loss here. We'll stay positive on the day. Also, YJ got out of that one right as it came back into the volume weighted average price. It's not trading as a range. I'm out. Simple as that. Now, I've got a couple of new ones here for you guys. Let's bring in the side charts. I like SBET. So shout out to my man Brian in the chat calling out SBET, a name that we know a lot. We've seen. Take care, guys. Take care, Fabian.
Where's he going?
I don't know. Cut his hair. I don't know. Shout out to my man. So SBET, this is one that we've seen before many times. It shows up a lot on the scanner, and I like it. It's not up big. It's not up big at all. In fact, it closed out at about 630 yesterday with a 721 high. It's breaking structure right now meaning that for the first time on the day, it's actually losing the 10 moving average on the 5. I mean, I don't think it's been below the 10 moving average since the 940 candle. So this may be a more prolonged pullback. Two levels I'm looking at, simple, are $7 psychological resistance. And I'm also looking at that white line. That is the volume weighted average price, which currently in the high 80s. Depends on where VWAP is when the price action makes it up there. But I also want to mention CDTG. This is halted up at $4.33. I tried this one. It's my only negative name on the day, and it lost structure. Look at this. It was basically holding 380s. This candle here, 12 o'clock candle, dips all the way down to 355, and then it halts up at 433. You like that kind of thing? Have at it. To me, it's hard to manage risk on that, so I'm going to be staying away.
All right, man. Good stuff. Yeah, Gorev, yeah, congratulations to you. This is what happened. We're posted up on the NASDAQ. I did want to pull back into the 72.34, then off to the races we would have been. But as I said, man, hindsight has awfully good vision. Let's pull up NVDA. Here it is. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Trading not to lose opposed to just trading to put on the right position. Okay, so here it is. You get out at break even. And I was thinking about re-engaging once again here. And then who's my boy in the chat that hit this trade? So congratulations to you. I'm glad that you had the opportunity to take advantage of this strong uptick to the tune of where we go back almost close to, we did break opening, actually no, not even close actually. It's 221.46 for opening price here on NVDA. But hey, BMNR is up 14%, MSTR is up 14%. You have Ethereum up 8% as well, too. So, I mean, pretty good looks in the crypto space here, ladies and gentlemen. Still not seeing what I want to. You can see what we do have right now is a consolidation zone. At some point, we're going to break and maybe liquidity grab. And this is the scenario that I'm waiting for. If it happens, that's going to be my green light to go long. I'm also posted up just below the range here on the TQQs at 75s. Okay, so let's pull that back up, TQQ. And then we're going to be looking for just a slight scalp on this bad boy. So my price being 72.75, pullback, and then a continuation of the trend. And especially if NVDA wants to rock and roll, then we're going to be sitting in a pretty good position, especially if we catch this fill. So, yeah, that's what I have right now. I don't know if you have anything, some small cap names. I will. Some small cap names definitely moving. I've seen you get some good high of the day breaks, man. So it looks like they're not looking too bad.
Is actually staying open. Now, the problem with it staying open for so long is it had a pretty aggressive pullback. So we were at high days 1240. And then in about 2-minute, 3-minute candles, it dipped into 940. It's below 11 right now. It's got a bit of a lower high, lower low trend. I was just saying to somebody in the chat, I'm way too tired to trade something like this today. This requires a lot of mental energy. It's very fast moving. I'm just going to stay away from it today, but I'll call it out for you guys. Clearly, a buyer here at 1050, they just killed him. So we're continue to put in a bit of a downtrend. I'd be looking for a loss of current bar low. Current bar low is 960. So if 960 breaks, then we're looking at that next intraday halt level around 8 2/3, a little bit below 9. So keep your eye on that. I see that CDTG just opened. It's moving up. Do I have this one on a trading screen? No, I don't. Let me put it on. Take off QTEX. Actually, I'm going to leave QTEX on CDTG. So this one open, limit up is 498, 88, 94, 93. So there's a red rectangle right there, guys. Anytime you see the red rectangle on my time in sales, or sorry, my level 2, excuse me, that is the limit up level. That may change because the timer resets as time elapses, of course. So 498 limit up right now, which would make sense, right? $5 resistance. That would be a good area for to limit up, and then maybe a sell-off, an aggressive sell-off. Limit down is 418, showing 452s. Buyers coming in around the $0.50 right here. So keep your eye out on that. I'm going to keep my eye out on ZSTK just for you guys. 1240 high. It's resuming trend above 11, and I can't quite see what limit up is yet, but now the volume is starting to pick up here on ZSTK, 6 2/3 million. First time we looked at this, it was sub 1 million because it was halting so many times. So that is what I'm looking at right now. We'll keep you guys apprised of these ones. I'll be looking for some slower names, perhaps SBET, perhaps IOVA if it holds VWAP, which it currently is, maybe even YJ if it resumes trend, possibly above 5. But I'm gonna forego CTDG and ZSTK. Joe.
All right. SpaceX, let's pull that bad boy up for my boy. I just typed your name in, Scott H, SPCX. Let's see what we got going on. Yeah, man, a nice little recovery right there. Our boy Kevin Mendoza in the chat as well, too, man. Eating 335 for lunch. Seen those revs, brother. Nice work. But yeah, SpaceX on the road to recovery. After a pretty weak opening auction here, you can see the first 15 minutes, boom, to the downside. And then now we're forming these consistent higher lows, which is something positive. The wedge potentially being formed. So what we do want to see is momentum and volume really start to uptick here, ladies and gentlemen. And then that might give us a good opportunity to get involved for a breakout on SpaceX. Let's head over to the daily and see how we've been performing still within this range. So the longer we take to break down, I mean, there could be the opportunity that we break above the range and then find some more continuation to the northeast. Now, as for the options chain, there is some size at $150. I would look for that to be rolled over, and if it does, then hey man, anything can happen. Rolling. And then here it is, 72.75 is starting to get that pullback now. Same thing here with NVDA. Not getting what I want in IBIT, but that volume increase at one point, I did believe it was extremely elevated. And then as we were having the interview with Adara, just some more volume stepped in, making it the largest spike. Almost in, I'm not going to say the middle of the day, but outside of the open auction at 11.25, you just have this immense amount of participation step in. And sure enough, we haven't really climbed from that point, but it's not looking too bad. We had a break-even trade right here. I want anything south of 38.60. The closer to the volume-weighted average price we get, the better off I am from a risk-to-reward standpoint. And you always have to take that into consideration. So I'm not loving what I'm seeing right now in the crypto space, but hey, I mean, if we want to continue to go with the flow, what we do have is higher lows, all right, and then a nice flat top. So let's see which way breaks. If you have that second wave, then, hey, there could be a good opportunity, but you would want to catch the lower end of the range if possible. So you just have to post up and wait, and your order may or may not get filled. That's the nature of the beast. Same thing here with our TQs post up. Boom, says Casey 526, $10 super chat.
Thank you, Casey.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. We'll hit the stone cold for you. So yeah, I'm glad that everyone in small cap land is having a pretty good day. It started off fantastic, and then we decided to, do what we did and trade some more Moderna. I haven't even looked at it since MRNA. Since earlier this morning. I know things have cooled down a little bit, which is totally justifiable. Still holding up on this trend, higher lows consistently in Moderna.
All right, looking at some different sectors here. A lot of interesting green sectors. One that stood out to me immediately were Chinese ADRs. Look at this. There's only one negative name in the world of Chinese ADRs today. That is DQ, which is a solar name, and it's barely negative. And I don't know, I'm just guessing here, but I think it might have something to do with the fact that some H200s finally made their way onto the mainland. We know that, of course, H200 long delayed as a result of the Chinese regulator kind of championing their domestic alternatives. And that has been both good and bad for Chinese tech companies. Of course, they can't use the latest and greatest hardware. However, they do boost their own industry. So today, everything almost green here in Chinese ADR land, followed by, of course, a lot of greenery, as Joey was covering it right now. In the world of crypto, it doesn't matter what you're looking at, man. MSTR, you're looking at BTC, ETH's about to take out 10%. Coinbase is up 12.5%. But as you'll see, for the exception of the miners, which have kind of changed their tune lately to become more data centers than actually crypto miners, everything is negative on the year. When you do look at what is positive, this here column right there, that's year-to-date percentage up or down. CleanSpark, Mara, Riot, Hut 8, Cypher, all of these are mining names. And so if you're not in the mining game and you're not throwing your hat into the compute data center ring, you're decidedly negative on the year. So we'll talk some more sectors when we get back from the small cap recap with Sia.
The IWM is currently up on the day, 0.77%. Let's take a look at what is going on here. WOLF, 2 tickers for you. Wolfspeed currently down 10% and over, reporting earnings today. No time has been specified yet, but there are estimates that are available. Revenue estimate is at $150 million, and EPS estimate stands at $2.45. Nothing else that's crazy going on with this name. UPST, that is Upstart Holdings, it's up 8% as of today. And as of late yesterday, CEO of the company, Paul Gu, had said that the company is entering a quote-unquote second leg of its development, focused on converting its AI lending platform into a more sustainable, profitable growth while expanding into secured credit products. So you have two tickers, that is UPSC, that is now climbing over 8%, and just going to check levels of Wolf right now, that is down 9.5%.
All right, thank you for that, Sia. Now, the NASDAQ just kind of going on without us, which is, I mean, this pullback, once again, we did get the retest. Man, the polarity here is absolutely insane. 72.83, what was once resistance, clearly acting as support. A really, really good look here as the market continues to move higher. Ladies and gentlemen, not too bad of a play, especially after the initial selling. Now, are we going to catch the lower end of the range here, 38.80 on IBIT? We're just going to have to be patient and wait and see. So we do have multiple orders out right now. They're just not getting filled, and price action is slowly starting to crawl away from us, which is decreasing the probability of these orders getting filled. And I'm not chasing price. It's just not logical. I do believe there's a quality setup to be had here, especially just south of this resistance zone that has clearly acted as big-time support. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's unfortunate. Should have just walked away with that one more dinner trade. But, hey, IBIT not looking too bad either.
Yeah, man. I've got nothing on at the moment, guys. So any small caps you want me to look at, we'll have a look for you. But I'm going to stay put for now. I'm up on the day. I don't want to really give anything back. I want to go on my vacation, chill. So I think I'm done trading for the day. We want to stay positive on the week. That would be my 5th green day in a row after having 3 days of negativity last week. So I'm done trading for the day. But I would love to look at some different names for you, whether small cap, large cap, mega cap, crap cap, whatever. Just throw it in the chat. We'll have a look at it for you, and we'll give you an honest opinion as to the technicals. We'll maybe even talk some fundamentals. So throw that in. Okay, great. They're already coming in fast and furious. That gives me something to do. SECZ. Let's have a look at that. SECZ. Okay. So what is this? $1 billion market cap, securitized, whatever. 1.6 million shares traded on the day. Hit great day yesterday, so it was a bit of a downtrend. Looks like it found a bit of a bottom here at around 515, 5.25, and now it's putting in higher lows and higher highs. So who can complain about that? 646 area high. Intraday, though, it has lost the volume weighted average price. I would probably, be cautious getting along here, but you do have this area of consolidation for almost about 25 minutes between 10:05 to 10:35. So if that area goes like right below 610, maybe even 607, I'd stop out. But ideally, you're picking this up at the volume weighted average price. On a daily chart, let's have a look at what this bad boy looks like. Yeah. So a lot of these small caps do tend to look like this, where they have, an outsized couple of days and then they sell off on trend. But thank you for pointing that out. D-Tab wants me to look at Oracle, Reddit, and then RDZN. Let's look at ORCL. Let's see what Oracle has been up to lately. Here's the daily. So the trend is what it is. It is lower highs and lower lows. We gave away that 133 double bottom. That should have been, a good area of support. It didn't hold. However, we're right back into those April 2025 lows. Let's call that the tariff tantrum. Right into 120. So it holds 120, fine. But the trend is what the trend is, and it is a plethora of lower highs and lower lows on this one. I wouldn't touch Oracle until the trend breaks, and then you have a decided shift to the other way. Let's have a look at Reddit. All right, Reddit, yeah, I remember looking at this probably earlier the week, last week. It's still a bit of a range here, but the range is insanely wide. So what I would say is 140 seems like a great buy area, despite the fact that at times it has lost that trend. Now we're seeing some higher highs come in. The thing is, there is a bit of a fundamental reason why this one could have some trouble. We talked a lot about AI overviews by Google cannibalizing some of the ad revenue that Reddit generates money from, right? Because what Google AI overviews is doing is it's taking the information on the Reddit page itself and it's giving it to you in overview. So you needn't actually click the link. If you don't click the link, they don't get paid. So that is a concern there, aside from technicals. But I do like this, to be honest with you, Tiffany, because it is putting in some higher highs and higher lows. And I also happen to like, I don't own any social media platforms. If I was going to choose one, it would be one that's readily selling their data. It may not be great to the users, but from a revenue perspective, it certainly is. Yeah, that's it. Video fun for all. I just stepped in. If you are not ready, you can take a look at BTGO. I'll look at it for you. Absolutely, brother. Let's have a look at BTGO. BitGo holding. Something tells me, pardon me. Something tells me this is going to be strong on the day, Joe, saying that it's in the crypto space. And there goes BTGO into the high of the day, 650. Look, this has been a clean hold of the 10 EMA on the 5. I would just look for a pullback into the 10 EMA, ride it into that trend until it breaks down. Otherwise, I'd be possibly looking for a deeper retracement into the 20. That's the yellow line, currently showing 6 1/3. And you have VWAP here at about 618. That is the 5-minute chart. On the daily, though, we know what crypto has looked like lately. So there's clearly a buyer here, though, right around 4 3/4, 5. So there's a bottom here that's been put in for a while, essentially since, I want to say, late May till now. Now, even if you do catch a bit of a bid, which we certainly are, this is probably the biggest green candle we've put it in a very long time. It looks maybe the biggest green candle since May 8th. All that aside, if you get into that 7.5, 7 3/4 level, you're going to meet this area of previous support, now probably resistance. So you got to be alive to that 7.5 area, acting as a bit of a resistance level if you're going to swing this. Now, good news for you is that's $1 away. We're at about 650 high right now. High day 650. That 750 resistance gives you $1. So really, depending on how you're looking at trading this could be really good. So shout out to you. Thanks for pointing that out. What do you got, Joey?
All right, good stuff there, brother. So here it is, IBIT starting to break this wedge that we just displayed not too long ago, and here it is. We're going to run into, so we might catch an order fill momentarily, and then we're going to be looking for a little bit of a scalp here, maybe back towards the top end of this range. So let's be patient and see if one thing happens. I know that we're slowly inching away from catching that IBIT fill, but a nice pullback as NVDA runs right back in towards the volume-weighted average price, dragging the NASDAQ down with it. Same thing with the SPY. I'm not going to call it a triple top. It's not necessarily that, but here it is, just a lot of chop over the past couple of weekends, ladies and gentlemen. Our ranges are really starting to compress, 768 to a high of around 772. So a $4 range on the SPY, which we've seen a lot more. And then now we're starting at $712 all the way to a high of 21. So a little bit more here, but hey, we know that the tech names can be extremely volatile at times. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Yeah, man, that's what happens. Dude. CrowdStrike down 6%. Big time run off of those highs. I mean, there's some of the crypto treasury plays. You can see they're up double digits. Memory, Western Digital, SanDisk, STX down another 5% today. So most definitely a tougher look. SanDisk here, Western Digital, Micron, DRAM positive, but a big time gap down. We are looking at this $50 marker, which was around, not necessarily around the low of the day, but I do believe we're going to be heading into that neck of the woods. So be cautious of that, ladies and gentlemen, just in case. All right, there we go. We're now into this position. Let's see if we can get a nice little uptick here in the NASDAQ, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a big time trade. Let's see if we can get this one working for us, my friends. All right, that's what I'm talking about. I might be just having to scalp out. So you see how we post up there, and then the stock or the ETF immediately takes a breath. That's a good opportunity for me to just scalp some out, because what I'm seeing right now is that we're not overly strong. So another couple of upticks, if we're fortunate enough to get that, then that's the end of the trade, right? That's what we were looking for, a nice little scalp on this bad boy. Still holding that level, and you see how we tick down pretty aggressively. So an additional one. The trend is still down, understandable, but hey, we'll take it for what it is. Bang. And then just that scope, just in case that this trend remains intact and we decide to head back in towards the volume-weighted average price. So scalp in and out, a couple of second trade, you post up at those levels, you play the breadth of the underlying asset, and then sure enough, a nice little move here, and you can see the weakness displayed in the tape. That's why you get out, ladies and gentlemen, especially on that. So a nice little scalp city for us to give us some more breathing room on the session.
Joey, listen to this, man. I bought some stuff.
What'd you buy?
I bought some stuff for the trip, right?
Oh, okay.
So yesterday, it came in like 12 o'clock. Now look what they're saying,
bro. What are they saying, bro?
They're saying 4 to 8 delivery time.
Oh, man.
Man, I got to leave by 6:30.
Yeah, but bro, when did you order it?
Like 3 days ago. One is coming from Calgary. One came from the States. It was at Customs. Why the hell?
What
is
did you?
it
Let me see
taking
what you
so
got over there. Oh, it's
So
the gear.
these two came in yesterday. Yo, this they basically copied Lululemon shorts.
Did they?
Yeah, I overlaid them on top, like the Lulu ones we got a few months ago. Identical. So they just basically stole Lulu's design. I wonder why
my
Lulu's
Lulu
doing
shorts
bad.
are my Lulu shorts are my favorite. But
Easily.
I don't like the hoodie that I have. It's just really uncomfortable.
Your Lulu shorts have a liner? Yeah, so these ones don't.
No liner.
Yeah, so I can actually wear them in the street. Because if you're wearing a liner in the street,
Well, I mean.
yeah. So by the way, this, I don't know if you're interested in this design, but the black one came in yesterday.
Yeah, you were showing me.
Quality shirt.
Is it high quality?
Thick and stretchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's good. All right.
For a
man.
good price.
Yeah. You might have to head over to Lululemon. You're excited, getting ramped up.
Getting
now.
ramped
Get on
up.
the red eye. Don't drink too much at the airport, eh?
Oh, we're gonna have a beer at the airport.
Oh,
yeah,
keep
100%.
the
We're gonna have a beer at the airport,
Keep
my
the
guy.
tradition.
Just like last time. Yeah.
It doesn't matter what.
No,
time.
it was all beer last time.
It doesn't matter
No
what
hard
time.
liquor.
It doesn't matter what time you show up at the airport. You need to.
We're
have
late
a
as hell
beverage.
at the airport.
I know, but even if it's at 6 in the
No,
morning.
no.
Dude, you don't
I've
even
done that
understand.
before. I've
No,
taken
I've done
early
that.
flights,
Yeah,
and I was like, I'm not buying any
Man, so
alcohol.
when me and my
No way, bro.
buddies, like, you gotta think we all like played hockey, grew up together.
Get it, Neil.
When we went to Chicago, we're at the breakfast restaurant and we're
Mimosas?
no, lemon drops and everything, and the lady across from us is like, "Oh my God, where are you guys flying?" So I'm not on the same flight
She
as you
said
guys.
that?
No, but she was
No wonder
joking.
she didn't want to
She
give
was
you.
joking.
She didn't want to give you alcohol on the
Well,
plane.
no,
though.
that was the
different?
That was the stewardess.
Was that the
man.
same flight though?
But we were in the Pearson at the time. But
Pause. Was that the same trip though?
Yeah.
And another piece of the puzzle
Yeah, but
falls into
that's
place.
all right, man.
No, you
But
didn't give us that information last time, Joey.
I'm like, give me at least one more. My buddy got two because he's like, it's my birthday.
He was
and then I
behaving,
got one.
wasn't he?
No, he was
He was
not.
behaving.
Dude, listen, I'm not obnoxious when it comes to that stuff.
You're never obnoxious.
No,
not
and
your thing.
he is more or less, and he got two, and I only got one. And I'm like, what kind of American airline BS is this?
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else with that. I didn't know you
No,
were going to
man.
throw the airline part in there.
No.
Get it, Joey.
This is an American airline thing.
All right,
Delta is
man.
good stuff.
Here's the deal. We're done trading for the today, guys, but I want to point out AZI looks awfully good. If I was trading right now, we'd be punching into AZI. Look, it broke structure in the fact that it took out that that flat top break, right? Got into 194 and then lost it all the way down to 155. But I want to point out that 155 to 150, that was the flat top, right? So it stands to reason that if it loses trend, it comes back in to the prior area of resistance. And this time around, lo and behold, it is support. And there it goes, 69 and 72. It's on the move here. AZI, I think, looks pretty good. It is not a multiple halter like ZSTK or CDTG, but not everybody wants to trade those multiple halters in any event. If we do curl into that 194 to 2 and we break through 2, my bias is already going to be starting to yell 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Guys, AZI, if it can hold structure, I think it's a pretty good one. It's putting in those higher highs and those higher lows. For now, though, we're going to send you up to Adara with news.
Keep an eye on GM and Ford here, guys. There's not a massive move, but I did see a volume spike on the 3-minute and for Ford in particular. So I want to talk about this. We have comments coming from U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer. Speaking on Canada, he just said, quote, "I feel confident that we have reached a deal to protect the U.S." So yeah, it sounds like Canada and U.S. trade agreements, at least Jameson Greer seems pretty confident. They're good for now. We know there was that meeting here with Minister LeBlanc of Trade in Canada and Jameson Greer that took place at 11:15 a.m. So that could just be wrapping up. If I see anything else, I'll keep you posted.
Thank you for that information, Adara. That interesting development yesterday. President Trump putting the brakes on the 50% tariffs that were slated to come in today. For a few days because of his opinion or his statement that they were basically at a deal. Now, Prime Minister Carney, for his part, he said there was more work to do. We know President Trump's modus operandi, right? He likes to kind of announce these deals so that he can kind of get the trend or push it in his direction. Prime Minister Carney will submit to you much more of a pragmatist, right? Or kind of, he needs to cross his T's, dot his I's kind of guy.
Exactly.
So I don't think he's going to be the one making an early announcement. I think he's going to leave that for President
he'll
Trump.
save it for when it's done.
Yeah, well, Prime Minister Carney is just, he's completely different individual than President Trump, right? However you feel about him. In any event, CDTG is open. It's at about 4 3/4, tight spread here. It could reclaim 5. It looks like it's on the way to 5. 513 limit up for CDTG. Be on the lookout for that. 513 limit up. But I want to keep an eye here on AZI. I don't know where the hell it went. Okay, we took it off because we stopped trading it. So what we'll do is we'll just take off ASTL. We'll put AZI on because this one continues to curl into 170. It's having trouble with 170, but if it can get above 175, I think this one's going to beeline into 194. Let's send it up to Sia.
Let's take a look at the sectors. Before that, let's just tech levels for SPY. SPY currently up 0.40%, closing to 0.5% on the day. Let's take a look at the sectors. Electric tech, you have Nvidia and Micron that are flat, with Cisco joining the pack as well, and Apple up 2%. Broadcom down close to 4%. So is AMD and INTC above the 3.5% mark. Dell is also down 5%. However, Marvell is up 9.4%, announcing that it was giving Google permission to buy a $12 billion stake in the company as a part of a deal to develop custom chips for the company. So with that, Google, however, turned flat. Microsoft up 1% and Meta up over 8%. So is Palantir soon to cross the 2.5% mark. Oracle is up close to 2%. And CRWD, however, down 6% on the day. ACN is up close to 7%, and CRM up 5.3%. PNW, however, lagging down 4.1%. Finance, you have BRKB, MasterCard, that is flat on the day, but Citi down over 2.5%. JPM and BAC also down over 8.5%, or BAC is down 1.4%. Visa is up 1.3. However, two names that I do want to take a look at is that Hood and Coinbase are soaring above. The Hood is up 8.5% and Coin up almost 13% on the day. So both have surged since Bitcoin prices have popped more than 4% to about $68,000. So that's what's causing the rally here. Retail trade, let's take a look. Amazon is up 2%. Walmart flat as a stock can be. Costco is up 0.5%. Home Depot up more than 1.5%. Now, Low and TGT reported along with TJX. TJX down 2.5%, but you have Low shares up over 2%. Shares were trading a bit lower earlier in the day. Treasury yields, however, have fallen, causing this. TJT is up 5.3%, reporting better than expected revenues in its second quarter financial report. We're going to be discussing all of this in the news segment, so don't go anywhere. CVNA up 7.4%. Now, health tech, you have Lilly up 3.18%, ABBV, MRK. There's entire sector looking pretty strong. J&J, however, flat on the day, but in health tech as well. Moderna also surging after a personalized cancer vaccine between the companies showed positive results in late-stage trials. So that is also what's causing this entire sector between Moderna and MRK to be up. Producer manufacturing, a little bit of a lag in the names LRCX, EMT, CAT, GEV, consumer non-durables, utilities, process industries, as well as industrial sectors, bit of a mixed sentiment, and health services thrown in the pack as well. But consumer durables, you have Tesla that is up 3% on the day. Energy minerals, you have a bit of mixed sentiment in that sector as well. And in transportation, finally, Uber is up close to 5% on the day. Dash is up over 1.5%. DAL is down 1.5%. FedEx up 1.2%, and UPS up 1.2%.
Thank you very much for that, Sia. Great coverage, great look there. It is interesting though, Joey. Joey, do you want to talk a little bit about this inverse Apple trade that we've been seeing, I guess, for the past couple of months?
Yeah, we can.
When the chips are weak, it's not a hard and fast rule, but I would say statistically it is probably accurate. When the chips are weak, Apple is strong. Do you think that has something to do with the building, the AI build out versus the AI deployment kind of inverse correlation trade? Like, what's your take on
Yeah,
this?
I mean, I think that's where Apple had its edge for quite some time, right? They were just sitting back collecting from everyone, spending and paying them to be on their platform. to be on their device, I should
Right.
say, right? Being on the Apple operating system. And then also you just see a rotation because we know that Apple is extremely cash heavy at this point compared to some of the other individuals, the hyperscalers depleting their free cash flow, going into the debt market as
Right.
well too. So I think it's just, I mean, I know we don't love using the term flight to safety, but I think that's the narrative, is that your rotation out of everyone who's spending cash to the companies who's hoarding cash.
Who's hoarding cash or not spending nearly as much. Like, let's remind everybody that during not the last earnings call, the one prior to that, they did announce that they were not going to be. I'm talking about Apple, cash flow neutral or cash neutral. Sorry, excuse me. Meaning what? Meaning basically that they're looking to spend a little bit more. Now, they haven't done it, at least from what we've seen quite yet. We did see them, of course, open up that Houston facility, but that was already planned, right, where they're making the Mac Mini. Of course, they have to acquiesce to President Trump's insistence that they reshore the supply chain, and I think that they've done that, or for parts of that, of course. But I think I don't know, man. I just, the logic behind it kind of runs counter to me. I think they both need each other. Like, without the AI build-out, how can we have AI deployment? So why is one inversely correlated to the other? Is it because there's a finite amount of money to go around, where you're either in the chip build-out kind of trade, or you're in the the AI build-out trade or the AI deployment trade? I'd like to get your thoughts on this as well, too, guys. Has anybody in the chat been taking this kind of inversely correlated trade?
Yeah, I took it yesterday.
I know you did. That's why I'm talking to you about it.
I took it yesterday. I don't know, Sharif. We know that the market has its nature and it changes cycles all the time. And right now, the punishment being spending cash, we sell you off. Holding cash, we're going to buy you up. So I don't know how long that's going to stand. Things can change, which I find kind of odd because Google is still making a boatload of money off of the Gemini ecosystem.
Oh, yeah.
So regardless of how much they're spending, you can actually justify
two hands, right? Like one hand in the build out and one hand in the deployment.
They have it in
Just
every.
in the AI,
I know, and I know you. I know, obviously, but like this, it's not kid around here. They have multiple hands. They got their 100%. hand in cookie, but in every cookie jar apparently. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's just kind of where we're sitting at. Everyone's fearing a bubble, right? Like, how much more money are you guys gonna actually spend?
I like how you brought that up.
But I think at the end of the day, when you have companies like Amazon and you have Google's Gemini with 1 billion monthly active users, you have OpenAI with 1 billion, 300+ million on Anthropic, and the majority of those being paid customers, I think it's hard to deny the fact that these companies are starting to make some money in this space.
That's a great point. Let's see what some of the people in the chat have said. Yeah, it looks like you guys are all doing that. David says, same folks playing the same rotations. Ichiro says all the time. So he takes those inversely correlated all the time. Yannick, yeah, I think it's the cash on hand and the dependence on devices to use AI. That's exactly what I'm thinking there. Notorious Dingleberg says, I'll definitely roll from semis to software and back. Great. I mean, that's kind of exactly what I suspected you guys were doing. Carl's Packer, give me a break. Bank shorts? I don't know what are bank shorts?
I don't know.
I don't know what those are. With Luis, safe travels. Thanks, Carl.
Oh, Luis tagged us in a post the other day.
Did he?
On X. Yeah. Was he in the chat there? It's Wednesday. Is he coming on today?
I don't have a legitimate X account.
That's
I have a burner account.
Is he coming today?
I don't know. We're gonna find out. It is summer.
We'll find out.
So
he wasn't here this morning.
He wasn't here this morning.
No, he
yeah.
wasn't here this
yeah.
morning.
So that's kind of the situation. We'll see him hopefully soon. The Sunni's upside down. The sun is upside down. Weeks ago, I said it looked like the two greatest companies, Apple and Nvidia, look to be inverse of each other. I kind of agree with you. It hasn't always been that way, though, right? And that's kind of what I'm saying. I'm not saying this is an entirely new thing, but clearly it hasn't always been Apple down, Nvidia up, and vice versa. That's something a little bit, at least newer for me.
Read what Green Saber said.
What do you say? Joe, once the build out and spending are completed, the challenge will turn to ROI. The investment will need to generate jobs to be profitable, right? Well, I don't know if it needs to generate jobs to be profitable, especially with a lot of automation. And a lot of the stuff that's being made, well, yes, a lot of it's being reshored, but a lot of it's still being made overseas. I just think they need to be profitable. I don't know if the jobs component.
I'm in the same camp. In regards to the jobs aspect of things, I don't think that's necessarily the case. It's creating jobs right now, right? With the build out, with the infrastructure, building these, pouring concrete. You have Caterpillar, who's been going on an absolute monstrous run. Will the build out ever slow down? I think at some point you're going to have to continue with the data center growth, but at the pace at what we're currently growing at, no, I don't think that's necessarily the world that we're going to live in the future. But you'll always need more data, especially if you have more people getting involved with the ecosystem. Like my aunt that I was with over the weekend, she's like, well, our work is just embedded in the Copilot ecosystem, and it's just made work so much more efficient. And I think that's the narrative of this AI build out, is like, how more efficient can we become? Because the more efficient you become, the more money you can potentially make.
No question.
Right?
No question.
So, I mean, that's how I'm no economist, but efficiency within countries is really important, and how profitable they can actually be.
He's not. You know what? I'll save that for after. Guys, mRNA, I can't even believe what's happening here, man.
Is it still going?
It's up 131%. It's like $20 off the highs, but it's turning around here. 146, 150 could be incoming on mRNA. I want to read some of these, man. There's great comments by some of you. The application layer is where it's at, says TradeWiz. Interesting there. What is that comment? Hedge funds shorting the NASDAQ 20 billion, says Shauna. Okay. Interesting look. I want to mention as well, CDTG just got into that 589 day high. It's breaking down a little bit now. I want to mention prior bar low on CDTG is 528, showing 5.5 now. Look for a prior bar hold. But this one's been great, man. It's my only negative name on the day. It was in here at 41, 4.1, stopped out at 3/8, and I didn't really get back into it. It didn't hold structure. I got to tell you, I don't have the compunction to trade these multiple halters today. I didn't get much sleep last night, so we're gonna have to chill out. But what I can tell you is 505 limit down on CDTG currently. I did just glance at 617 limit up, so it'll have to be a high day for you guys to limit up there. So it's still in play. It's not even up that much. It's up 65%, right? It closed out yesterday at around 330, 329. That's the price, not the time, I mean. And, you know, it's only got a 580 down high. So newer trade, I want to say. It did halt up bright and early at 955, but it almost did no volume right around till 1205. That's when the volume really started coming in on CDTG. So I want to say it's kind of a newer trade. Even though, you know, it was technically breaking out earlier on, it wasn't doing the requisite volume, meaning that a lot of eyes weren't on it. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I don't know. It's like our boy's back in the chat.
Who?
You see who it is, man.
I'm looking, bro. I don't see. Jesse Hernandez is my man. There he is. Hold on. What? Is that George Costanza he's got?
Who he got up there, man?
I'm going to have to report him.
Might be, no, it's Kramer. Who he's got up there today.
That's George, bro.
It's George, man. George, man. Our boys, what's up, Jesse?
Can't stand yet. He's got like the pendant on. Shout out to Jesse Hernandez.
Is that what
man.
people call him? Can't stand you?
Well, no, there was a teacher that he had back in the day. Like that's again, if you're a Seinfeld buff, right? He had a gym teacher that used to like give him atomic wedgies, and then the teacher ended up becoming homeless, sadly. And he ran into him on the steps of the public library, and he still remembered him. And then he gave him a wedgie as a grown-ass man.
I can get behind the George can't stand ya.
It's hilarious.
You shouldn't have told me that there.
Can't stand ya.
Stand ya. What's up, Jesse, man? I hope everything's good.
Yeah, brother.
Definitely, let's break it down. I'm glad. You know what's great? It's crazy. I was like, man, where's our boy at? I was actually thinking that here today.
Jesse?
Jesse, yeah, because I seen Blicky when Blicky's in the chat. He's like, man, I'm thinking about changing my name. I'm like, nah, but it has to be equally as iconic. But here it is, guys. All right, let's get down into what we were trading. Now, we were talking about some scalps. Posting up at key levels and just taking these micro moves, larger size, stop at the lower end of the range, boom, off to the races it goes. So this gives us significantly more breathing room here on the day, but you can see the trend is down. It's so much harder to play this. For me, I'm like, okay, why don't I just wait for an additional pop? Because it's clear that the flow is to the downside, but I might eat those words relatively quick, because what we did have is a strong breakout here on NVDA, then proceeded to fail, Now we're starting to form a bunch of indecision prints in this congestion area right here on NVDA. So there might be a good opportunity via NVDL. We still have our order posted up on IBIT. So there's going to be a couple of opportunities, but having these two wins back to back under our belt definitely changed the narrative. And I mean, we had a pretty good day on MRNA.
Got it, Joey.
I'm a poet, and I didn't even know it until we decided to do all of this tomfoolery over here. But this was it. This was like the trade of the day right here. Boom. 30s all the way up to 32.25, and then SPCX right off of the lows. And it's just like, all right, man, George can't stand you over here. We should have just got out of this one. But instead, we took a couple more opportunities, which kind of dug us a little bit of.
This is going to be another AC Slater thing, where you like you don't watch it, but you're going to say it. I love it.
George can't stand you.
George can't stand you. Right?
Yeah.
Can't stand you. Can't stand you. That's what I used to do, bro. It's crazy.
Crazy.
All right, we lied. We're in a trade here, right? We're going super small size,
never say
bro.
never.
I never say. All right, we're looking for a $6 break here on, I don't know, on CDTG. If it stops out below the $0.50, I'm gone. But I'm looking for a hold up here, generally into trend. There is it's a 589 high a day. There it goes, right into 88s. But there's somebody really defending 88s. And that makes sense because 89 is the high of the day. So, like putting your stop just right at the low of the day or at the high of the day if you're going short. So it does make sense that they're defending 88s. But it feels like the accumulation is coming in, whether or not the shorts have more buying power or conviction than the longs. Here, they're selling at lower levels, so you need to be careful with that. They were selling at 88s. Now you're seeing at 85. There's 87 again. So let's see how this cookie crumbles, man. We're not going to take any profits because we have really small size here. We're just kind of doing it to go through the motions. But I ideally want a $6 break. But we are seeing a lot of topping till candles develop on the 5. So that, to me, means a very conviction short. And whether or not we hold up at these levels, your guess is as good as mine. With that 589 area high, it's essentially a $6 touch. Let's see how this one trades, Joey.
Good stuff over there. SpaceX starting to come back in, so we can see that we have those consistent higher lows here, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like the trend's going to break, and that's why we get out pretty quick here on some of these scalps. Now we're right into some levels that we've been keeping our eye out on. What we do have is a slight pullback in Bitcoin, but we're back up to $150 on MRNA. So with that being said, let's head over to our options chain and see what we got going on. I know Jesse's been trading some options as well too. So let's see how his day. Have you been trading MRNA today? Jesse, please let me know, and you can tag me in the chat, obviously. Hope everything is going good with you. Here it is, MRNA. I don't have anything. Let me know, guys. Do you have any data north of $120 strike price here? I tried changing it. I'll maybe try to find a different source, but there's nothing for me. 273% at the money IV. So just absolutely insane price action, and this continued to climb higher. Like, the returns on this stuff is absolutely ridiculous. There's no way anybody would have knew this unless you're some form of an insider. There's a term for that, Sharif. I'll bring that to us momentarily.
U.S. Treasury yields have fallen sharply today, around from their highest level that they've been in the 19 years. This is following the announcement that the U.S. Treasury made that it would double the size of liquidity support buyback operations for longer dated bonds. With that, you have the DXY that is currently down on the day, 0.8%, trading around the $98 region. Let's also take a look at the pair USD INR. USD INR currently around 95.7. Yesterday was a little bit more. Currently, well, it's up 0.08%, almost flat on the day. But India's rate settlers have signaled the possibility of rate hikes ahead, even as they are lifting these interest rates that are unchanged at their policy meeting earlier this month, and also watching for evidence that supply-sparked inflation may be seeping into India's broader economy here. And this is coming from the minutes of the meeting that was held. Let's also take a look at the GBP USD pair here. The pound against the dollar, currently higher right now, over 0.5%, clinging on to gains against the dollar today, as the inflation data that came in showed that UK inflation in July has picked up as expected.
Yeah, I was just telling Joey, I haven't even packed my suitcase yet, man. We're gonna do it. I was thinking about doing it at night yesterday. I was like, oh God, I'm just so tired.
Do it a couple hours before you leave.
Yeah, it's just like becomes
Forget-
routine.
If you forget anything, you could just buy it.
Well, I don't want to do that, though,
Wait.
man. Like, hero? Oh my God.
Why? You just, if play it like
MRNA
you
is above 150 again, man.
Yeah, I know. I can't. Well,
It's going. The trend is up, man.
Pull yours up here. Let's your
MRNA?
options chain here. No,
Sure.
your options chain.
Oh, okay.
And see if you can go anywhere north of 120 bucks. I can't.
Oh, my options change.
Yes, sir.
Well, I did cancel my options data, but we can give this a try. MRNA.
boy.
Is it going to be delayed if I canceled my options data?
Probably.
What are you looking for here?
Anything north of 120 bucks.
North of 100. You just have to allow it to.
Yeah, I know. I've tried that.
So,
So go to all strikes.
yeah, there you go. And then just go
Which all
here.
strikes.
Oh, I do have all. No, it doesn't show me anything
Doesn't
above
show-
120.
yeah,
That's
I know.
crazy.
It's crazy.
Why does it do that?
I don't know.
'Cause it was
There might not be any
expected?
contracts. Let me know if anybody. Have you guys
very
identified
interesting.
any contracts north of $120 here on MRNA? That's extremely interesting because if there's no derivatives play in that area, what happens is just a complete short squeeze. So whoever was just getting destroyed, not having the ability to hedge against their position. I'll check another source here. Only lets me trade to $120 as well. Too. A couple people stating Dave in the chat. What's up, Dave?
Get it, Dave.
Let's pull MRNA. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I'm onto something here, Sharif. We got
Get
something.
it, Joey.
All right. So yeah, I do believe I have some data. Oh yeah, all the way up to 100. Whoa. Okay. I'm getting up to 145. There is open interest north of these levels. Let's see what the 150 is bringing us. No open interest, but there's volume there. How does that work? Okay, so that might not be. I can see past, but it's all O's. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was just about to mention there, Jeremy. It's all O's, so there's not very much activity. No open interest. Even though I do have some volume on 120, 24,000 contracts, I don't know how that. I mean, that makes sense, but anything north of that 125 bucks, there shouldn't be any form of data whatsoever, especially if there's no open interest. Now, let's see if we're going to get to this move, man. We caught a couple of nice scalps on the TQQs. That was working out really well for us. Now, this bull flag, no continuation thus far on IBIT, but we have an order at some key support levels. Let's zoom in on this bad boy and see if this one's going to pan out for your boy, 3880. You can see it's south of this structure, so maybe you'd have some absorption right here. Your liquidity grab 3880 and then bang, off to the races, second wave of participants, because we know when space has been overdone, Sharif, at times, people can get really excited and jittery like myself right now looking for an IBIT trade, and you just take that second leg and you decide to rip a little bit more north of 6% on the intraday session.
And you got SpaceX down again.
SpaceX
But
down,
that was a
yeah.
clean rejection for everybody who took that swing when it got into 150. Obe was talking about this with me on Monday. Here's the 150 it is. And now this looks really good for the short, eh? Into that 150. 3 candles basically touch that 150. And now we've got a couple of lower lows, lower highs on the daily. So you're getting that rounding effect off a key technical level. So why do I say 150 is an important area of resistance? Well, because it was a flat bottom break, right? We saw that because their first trading day was the 12th of June. And we had, look where that candle opened up, right around 150. And then we had multiple days where we defended that 150 level on SpaceX. And then we finally lost it on a closing basis on July 8th, almost, a month after, almost, give or take. And now here we are, getting right back into that 150, which was a very clear area of support, and we're rejecting it. So unless we close above 150, and I would say decidedly close above 150, I'm feeling that this could be a continued short. Now, this is somebody who is in SpaceX as a long-term investment, having added in these areas over here. So for me, I'd love for it to get above 150, but that's not really what the chart is showing at the moment, especially with that 150 rejection. Continuing to watch CDTG. It's hanging out at the $0.50 here, so nothing for me to do. Let's send you up to Adara.
Keep an eye here on Paramin Resources, PR. They talk about 3.5 million shares traded so far on the day, so decent volume, making new intraday highs. Paradigm reporting that this company has been pitched as Washington's next potential strategic buyout due to U.S. energy security and SPR drawdown focuses here. So PR, again, reportedly, according to Paradigm, being pitched as the next potential strategic buyout target for Washington. Back to you.
Eclectic Passions tells me if you're thinking about museum, unless you have weeks, forget about the Louvre and head on to the other side of the river. I don't know how to say this, man. Musée d'Orsay. Thank me later. Well, I'm probably Dorset. Thank you, Assassino. Dorset. I'm going to take a picture of that because I'm probably not going to remember the name, like I typically don't remember any names, right? And yeah, we'll check that out. Is it? I have no idea. I'm not really an arts or museum, unless the museum is going to be about like dinosaurs and stuff like that, then I'm not really going to be really into it, to be honest.
Did you watch the, I already know this is more or less a rhetorical question here, Sharif. Did you watch the new Anne Hathaway movie about dinosaurs?
No.
All right, I would say you never know, man. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. No, in all seriousness, guys, we're just removing this order here down to.
I thought you were going to ask me about The Devil Wears Prada too. I was about to really chuckle.
Did you? Oh, you watched that one?
No.
Okay. All right. Here it is, 38.60. We were up at 80s, so we would have caught that order here. I got to change my time frame just in case there's some forms of indecision prints. So yeah, actually, maybe we pop that back up to 80s. No, we're gonna keep it right here just in case there's no. Sharif, that's why you don't move it. 38.80s is really looking really good. We had that order there. We'll post up at it one more time to see if we can hold up, see if we can catch that one. Maybe we go 70. You know what? We go 79. Sharif, 79 there, my guy, because we are printing 79 on the bid. So the probability of this order getting filled relatively quick is there. Just another downtick, and then sure enough, we will be in this IBIT trade. There is some structure and some key support levels. So let's see if that holds up. We're getting a rebound in NVDA, the SPY bouncing as well too, and we have the NASDAQ trading slightly under the volume weighted average price. So a lot of stars are starting to align for us. Now we just need to execute on the trades correctly and see if we get the second leg. I mean, it's 1 o'clock now. At what point? There it is. So we're in this, Sharif. At what point, if there is going to be another wave of participants step in and take Bitcoin a little bit higher, when are they going to? I mean, there's definitely no definitive answer. Slightly already out of the money on this bad boy, but we'll give it a little bit more space here. 38.70s, we're at a dodge.
All right, man. CDTG above that $6 area. It's 625 limit up now on this monster. 17s, 20s. Look for that big break above the $0.25. It doesn't give you that quite yet. 425. There it goes into the high. 634 limit up on this one now. We got 08s. I got in below as well, and then I added into the position. So we did get in at 60s, and then we added on the break of 6. So we're continuing to hold the position here. Let's see if this holds up above 6. So 634 is limit up. There's 28. Big move into the high. We'll just take it out here because I don't really want to trade. But they're good trade here on CDTG. We got cut up on it a couple of times trying to get in, but there it goes. 628 high, 642 limit up right now on CDTG. 25. It's having trouble with the $0.25 though. Like you can see it move above 25 and then it will immediately sell. That feels like it might give way sooner rather than later, and we'll be talking about the $0.50 as opposed to the $0.25. Perhaps you should be looking on dips into the single digits or low double digits. I'm thinking 12, 13, 14, whatever there. And there's a move right back into 628. So this one I don't think is done quite yet. It's now 650 limit up. Keep your eye out here, 88%, 89%. We could see this one at triple digits sooner rather than later. There's your dip into single digits. I'm not going to add here, but there's your dip into single digits. Look for a holdup of 6. Maybe give it a little room, risk 10, 15 pennies, maybe into the 580s, just so if there is a liquidity grab in the high 5s, you're not getting stopped out prematurely, but it's holding 6 quite well, back into single digits again. It keeps bouncing off that single digit area on CDTG. So look, man, this one feels like it is the best in the market right now. It didn't start off that way, I would say, especially because the spread was super tight. And there goes a new high day, 643. It's 656 limit up. We're awfully close. I haven't seen this one halt for a while. It halted down. Remember this halt at around 1230? Now we're caught in a halt parameter, but that was quite fleeting. We come out of it pretty quickly, and now it's 667 limit up. So it's a 656 high a day, 667 limit up. We're dropping back down into the third now. This could be your opportunity here to buy some more. And then you stop out through the flat top break, which I'll submit to you is the 580s. Now that requires you to give it a lot more room, meaning that you'll have to project that you can make at least 1-to-1 here. So are you projecting that you're going to possibly get up to 7 or at least, 690 to risk those 40 to 50 pennies that you have to risk into the 580s? That's really up to you and how you trade. Here we are again into the low double digits. So turning into a bit of a topping tail candle now. Bovin says CDTG, do you think it breaks yesterday's high and gets into 10? I didn't quite look at yesterday's high. Let me have a look here, Bovin. So the high of the day yesterday was $8.48. It certainly can, Bovin. And the thing is about this is it's got a great rounding pattern, right? Now you haven't fully completed the U. You won't until you get into the high of the day yesterday. But based on how this is trading right now, Bovin, I'd say we got a really good shot. Now I don't like this kind of price action over here. That sucks. It took us from 11:30 to 2:30, pardon me, to get into these highs. But it took us from 3 o'clock to 3:30 to give it all back. So it took like 3 hours to get up there and just half an hour to get all the way down. That is kind of how these bad boys trade though. So you got to be ready for that. I want to mention as well some other slower ones if you're interested. AZI continuing to hang out here above VWAP, above the 10, but still south of that $0.75 AZI. It's putting in some higher lows, so that could buoy some spirits there for those who are holding. IOVA as well, a bit of a slower mover, but what a rock solid hold of the volume weighted average price right into that kind of 750 level. A clean hold, and here it is at 775. Now the problem with IOVA is you're not really getting much of a big move here. So you're going to have to size in substantially to make the move. Have you looked at Moderna? Dude, it's getting out of hand. So Moderna is back into the 154 area, guys. So now it's about $9 off the high of the day. So it's big. Yeah. It's well above VWAP, Katina, man. Bounced off VWAP, yeah.
Bounce, yeah. I thought there was a bond auction today at 1. Yeah, I believe there is. Yeah, how did that one go, Dara? I heard you just say something.
Yeah, we looks like apparently we trailed by 0.5 basis points. It's nothing massive here as far as I can tell. Actual print coming in at 5.204%. Prior it was 5.199%. So there's that 0.5 basis points.
Thank you. Oh yeah, and I think we have Fed minutes as well coming up at 2 o'clock. We got to send it over to the boys a little early. 15 minutes and no, I'm joking.
What? I was that's cap right there. That's
see, get you looking.
I don't think he even.
It's minutes. He's tapped
He's eating
right now.
You heard it, eh?
He heard it. It's just that, so we had the conversation because sometimes things are said to me and I'm told that I have
what was said to you?
Selective hearing, right? But we came to the conclusion that not everything deserves a response, Sharif. So.
It depends who's asking.
Well, it doesn't matter who's asking. Not everything. Well, it depends on the question as well.
Boy, that's a question.
It holds a little bit more weight, my boy. I don't think you would allow that to go in one ear and out the other.
So
there's something.
I mean, it depends who's asking.
Yeah, it depends who's asking, man. Chris Arthur, my guy. Can hockey players wear Lulu shorts?
Oh, do we have to bring in Big Spile?
I don't get it. Why?
It's like saying Beetlejuice. You say his name a few times, you might find a super chat coming in. The reason I say Big Spile is because, well, there's a running gag here between your friend Joey.
Yeah, but bro, they got the liners in there.
I know, but I don't think the liners was the issue. I think it was the length of the short.
There's nothing wrong with those, my guy. They were wearing those.
Brother, I wasn't the one trolling.
They were wearing those back in the day. What was the 70s?
They're wearing those now.
They're wearing those.
They're wearing those now.
You're always wearing those now.
I wear those too. I just don't wear them out. I wear them at the gym. That was I don't care, brother. You're not gonna find a hater in me. It's just funny how Big Spile makes
catch me at the workout gym. Yeah, in those. I don't see any form of issue.
I don't have a problem with it, especially at the gym. Come on, neighbor, man, that's cap. Lulu is for both sexes, baby. There's plenty of great stuff for men on Lulu, man.
Yeah.
Katina, man, you got any Lulu?
He's wearing it right now.
He's wearing
man.
Lulu
and
right
he's
now.
got
And he's got
aloe
aloe on, bro.
man.
He's
Get this-
doubling up here,
Bro,
man. He's got
someone-
aloe and Lulu on.
This guy is
Shout out to Katina. There it is.
This guy's
there it is.
profiling
There
right
you
now,
go.
man.
I've never owned an aloe.
That's what we were saying, man.
There
I
you
seen
go.
them earlier
The
today.
Katina
Got the
man's got the
Lulu.
Lulu on. Yes, those are actually quite. They look quite comfortable, Katina man. Pathic, enjoy your vacation. Which beach you headed to? I'm not headed to a beach, my boy. We're going to watch Arsenal.
Appreciate that. Beware the monkey.
Joe,
Yeah.
Sharif. Joe, Sharif doesn't wear shorts. I do. I got shorts in my bag right now. What is this guy, bro? We're gonna have to block him again, Joe.
Who's that one? Yeah,
What's Ram laughing at him?
probably that.
Yeah. And she's got a smirk from Brendo too, so you know it's funny, right? Because Brendo doesn't smile often.
When's her last day?
I don't know. I'm hoping soon. Bro. I'm kidding. She's gonna hear that because she listens to the stream with her headphones on, and then she's delayed, right? So then we get like the
Yeah,
hate
the response
after we
is coming
say it.
in. The response is coming in relatively soon.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
Pathic. I mean,
There it is. I love Ram. Yeah, it's true to form. Get it,
it's
Ram
quiet
Ram.
in here today. I feel like it's pretty quiet in here today. How do you feel?
It is. Because, you know,
Well, yeah, because you don't got there goes
well,
going
I'm
on. in
tired,
there.
brother. I
On
didn't
and
get to
things.
sleep yesterday.
What were you doing?
It was
last night?
just waking up, man.
What
I had
shenanigans?
allergies.
Oh, did you allergies?
Yeah, they were smashing me yesterday, so it was a bit of a tough one. Guys, but CDTG is back on the move. It's back above 6. If it takes out 6.25, regains structure. This one I would submit to you guys is probably the best one in the market right now. But as I say that, I also see AZI. And there goes AZI above prior area high. It's taking out 175. It's on the move here into 180. It's got a 194 high a day. And before all is said and freaking done, this could be at $2. And there it goes again into 180. AZI, 32 million shares, give or take. Plenty of liquidity here. Also a respectable spread. 1 penny the entire time I've been watching this. Unlike, of course, its uglier cousin, CDTG, which right now is fine. 3 pennies. Now it opens up to 10, so you're going to have to deal with that as it comes. But keep your eye on that. And I want to mention as well, I mentioned this on the black charts, but I didn't put it on the white charts. IOVA, it's not the biggest mover in the market, but it's got a gnarly trend off the volume weighted average price. That 7.5 hold was clutch. And now you're putting in higher lows and higher highs, and you could be on the move here, possibly into 8. It is a 785 high. Danny Patel, if you want, oh my God. I can't. Okay, I'm not reading that out loud, bro. Danny, you're killing me, bro. What in the hell? All right, TNON. That's crazy. If Joey was here, he'd be laughing. All right, TNON. Let's look at this one. Who called out TNON? Amir. Yes, my man Amir. I did have TNON essentially all day on the side chart, but number one, it was a bit more expensive. Number two, it held structure initially, Amir, right? With that dip into about 12.5. And then, you know, that was kind of the breakout area there in the pre. So I did like that. But it's holding structure again, but this time in a negative way. Take a gander at what that 1450 was like. That was an area of support. I'm talking about 1035. To the breakdown at 1150. That 14.5 was a technical area of support. Now it is very clearly acting as a resistance. You've got 2 topping tail candles, Amir, that reject 1450. However, I want to kind of comment about the fact that it's putting in higher lows into that 1450. That's what we call an ascending wedge pattern. You could get a nice flat top break through that 14.5 and possibly, you know, squeeze, I don't know, 1784 is the high of the day. I don't know if you make it all the way up there. But hey, you're at 1413 again, Amir. And this one, if it takes out 1450, which it hasn't done since we lost trend at about 1150, you could be on the move here. Perhaps build a position, right, in the high 13s with a view of taking that 14.5. And then I personally would give it a stop below area low. That is a 1255 candle on the 5, the low of which is 1310. So if you can't give it to that level, then maybe this one isn't for you because you could get out prematurely, right? You could get stopped out, even if it does hold trend. Now, for those who hate getting stopped out prematurely, I made a suggestion last week. perhaps you can execute your trades on the entry side on the 5. But you may want to look to the 15 or whatever other wider time frame, kind of floats your boat for your stop losses, with a view here to kind of filtering out the noise with respect to your stop loss. And I think that if you look at TNON here, at least on the 15, ever since we got into VWAP, you don't have a trend break. All the prior area lows held up. And that's the example I gave last week, and it was well received. I think, something that I may be employing myself. So again, I'm seeing the flat top ascending wedge pattern even more clearly, quite frankly, on the 15. So just to give you the levels, we're on the 1 o'clock bar right now on the 15. So prior bar would be 1245. 1245 bar low is 1310. Basically the same price that I mentioned over here, which is the 1255 candle on the 5, 1310. I would put my stop at 1310. You're getting topping tail candles, but that's nothing new here on TNON. It's been doing that basically the entire time. BTCT is moving, says Grenfeld. Let's take off here YJ, put BT. CT, CDTG is taking off, guys. Be on the lookout for that. BTCT, 620. Good call out, brother. Good call out. This might be down your alley here. This is Bitcoin. 69 penny high breakout here on. Look at that recent volume. Play? Let me find out for you, brother.
Bitcoin's on a down.
Oh, that could be a great. No, brother. It is. It's a holding company engaged in Bitcoin mining. It's $10 million market cap. It's breaking out 38%. Who could hate?
All right, who could hate that, man? Nice little look ski over there. I mean, we've been trying. Jamam, or sorry if I mispronounced your name. Yeah, nice little look. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call this a falling knife, but it is heading to the south side. I mean, I'm probably in the same camp too. I mean, we had a couple of nice scalps on the NASDAQ, dug ourselves out, and then I decided to go a little heavier on the share size here, and it didn't pan out how we were wanting to, and we don't want to get shut down here today. Still some time. I mean, that 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock hours is some time for me to shine, and we'll be patient and we'll wait till then. I know it's now 1:16. So we'll hop into the news here momentarily. As soon as Sharif gets back, we'll get the first story started up. See, I know you're ready to, you're locked and loaded, ready to go. So we'll fire that up, some retail names that we get to look to. Speaking, we'll do a little sneak preview here of what we got going on. A couple of the names, Target. We know Katina Man likes Target. As Obi would like to say, a nice bull flag on this bad boy. 161, what is even going on here? As we're not too far from some of these levels. I mean, I thought this was all-time high. Sorry, I corrected myself. But hey, a dividend. I know Katina Man's involved with this one. We're still a ways off of that. Still 41% off of the all-time high. Katina Man's November of 21, obviously it peaks in COVID, down 70%, but it's on its way to recovery. And then TJX as well is another name that reported. Okay, now we're all... What? This is the ideal investment month after month. What's our dividend paying us, ladies and gentlemen? 48 cents? Oh my, are these guys, what is this, a split? Ooh, 2-to-1 there. So, I mean, things are looking really, really good. Let's zoom out some more on TJX as, I mean, here it is from $1.80 back in 09. 09 here, you get 2,000%. So if you've held, let's see, I wonder if we're going to have him be, sorry to jump all over the place, but if we're going to be having the same conversation in regards to SpaceX, what is SpaceX going to look like a decade from now? I will be Sharif's age in 10 years, so his current age, that is. So let's see if we get, what do we need from where we're currently trading at to get that 1,000, that 10 bagger on SpaceX. Oh yeah, this is not looking too good, man. We're just having some fun here today. I know Katina Man's forever going to be holding this name. Gonna possibly hand that over to Miss Gia Katina. So let's see what we got here. Sorry for the lackluster. 1,000%, $1,500. All right, let's see if we get any form of a split. Let's see. Hey man, it's over under 9,722 days. What is that? Oh, that's 2053. No, let's go 10 years. What am I doing? I'm not even really paying attention to exactly what I'm doing. What is 10 years from now? 36. All right, let's see if we can get to there by 36, my boy. Do you guys ever do this on your own? Yeah. Well, I'm seeing if we can catch 1,000% return in SpaceX by 2036. Yeah.
I love this guy's already counting his money. But this is what I used to do, bro. Back in my bad money management days, man, I'd spend the money before I even had it.
Okay, I never did any of that garbage. You had it before it was in the account? That's crazy.
Yeah, no, those days are done. CDTG, new high of day, ladies and gentlemen, 683, above 6.5 now. It's holding structure. So it is going to bamboozle you at times vis-a-vis the spread and honestly the pullbacks. But when you look at this on a wider time frame, which I would suggest you do so that you can kind of weed out a little bit of the noise, this is looking real good. And there's a good possibility here now that we're almost at 7 that we see 10. It's still not even up 100%, knocking on the door, of course, 98 and change. But CDTG is him at the moment. As I see AZI put in a couple of topping tail candles, so that one could be trouble. So now let's focus on the one that is actually moving, and it is certainly this one. 15 million shares of volume, so it's really improved since when we first started watching this one. It was sub 1 million, if you recall. I like here the following levels: 6.25. 6.25, a very obvious level on the 5. You had multiple rejections there, both on the wicks and closing prints. So if there is a 6 1/3, oh, what a move up here. We're about to take out the high of the day. So there it is, another high of day, 689 now. On the way to 7, CDTG, almost up 110%. Here we go, limit up is 1717. So if it does come back at some point into 6 1/3, 6 1/4, that would be an interesting buy area. Now, what often happens is buyers are exuberant and they do not allow it to dip down into a key area of technical support, so they buy it a little bit above. Why I'm mentioning that is here, if you do see 6.5 support, it likely may have something to do with that. So I'll give you a range, 1/4 to 1/2 here on CDTG as a possible area of technical support to defend. There it goes again into 88, 724 limit up, new high a day, 98, keep going, 715 limit up, 715 high a day, 724 limit up. The breakout is on now on CDTG. Get it, Bovin. 724, 723, there's a halt parameter. False halt, 2 false halts so far on this one. I haven't seen it halt that many times. I know it has. 739 now limit up. The timer keeps resetting. This one feels like it is going to 10. And here we are trying to get caught in a halt parameter again. Not quite yet, though, as the shorts get involved. It just put it 739 there and then dropped again. So CDTG, guys, the move is on. Be careful with this one now, up 125%. As this one breaks out more aggressively, the pullbacks will be equally as aggressive, but you can use that to your advantage if you pick it up off key technical levels. So on the lookout here, CDTG, Joey, looking good.
Good stuff, good stuff. Just reading some things up here on Target. Don't want to give away too much. Yeah, I mean, you see what we got going on. Katina Man says, I can't retire for 15 years. So we'll clap that one, see if we can hold on to that, man. We got to pay some homage now. Jesse, you see what I replied to you. There goes Bitcoin. I don't know where that drama individual is in the chat.
I want to know what the Katina Man is going to do when he's retired, because I think that's going to be a change for you, brother, because you're always action-packed with these small caps, man. Like, that's going to be a major change.
Well, that's a good conversation to have. What is it?
Retiring from the show, he's not going to retire.
He's not going to retire. He's going to be trading at home.
That's a beautiful thing about being
He's going to be trading
right?
at home.
Like,
what happens when all the birds leave the nest, Katina Man, too, and it's just you and the wife at home? What is this guy?
I don't know. I beg to differ on that, Katina Man, because when they leave the nest, the expenses increase, don't they?
How would they increase, though?
University's already,
it's already paid for by a bank.
What is that called? The Registered Education Savings Plan?
Is that what they got going on there?
Yes, it is. Katina Man gave me
so bang. So everything's already paid for. Thanks to what underlying asset can we say? NVDA maybe potentially for.
You know what? Are you allowed to buy stocks in the Yes, very interesting.
just stock market, every form of savings.
My guy, you have a cap.
Yeah.
The amount of money you can deposit.
Yeah.
For externally.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that deposit can't grow infinitely if you're a fantastic
I'm
trader.
not saying that.
There's no cap on
my buddy, I'm pretty sure my buddy in his first home savings
Sure,
account.
same crap, yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, okay, yeah.
Did he trade in it?
Yeah, he invested.
You can't short though, right? It's
I
like
don't.
an
Well, it's
IRA
not. Well,
where you
he's
can't
not,
short.
dude. He's pure concentration risk. Let's
Fair,
see
fair.
how he's been performing as of late. Oh no, we just froze the whole platform. But yeah, I mean, if it's any form of a savings account, I'm sure you can opening up an investing vehicle and put some money to work without any question. So there goes Bitcoin starting to break down that bull flag, ladies and gentlemen.
Break it
Good,
down,
yeah,
right?
break it down. We don't have anything along those lines for that animation, so we'll just hit on the Bitcoin trade here, see if we can get any form of continuation, but it doesn't seem to be the narrative. Volume weighted average price is going to be that key level where you can look to engage on it one more time as it's broken down. Yeah, so this is what I remember I showed you this here, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Guy was almost a millionaire, more than halfway, and then
I know you told me that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then bang. That was my buddy.
That's a tough
That was
one
my
there.
buddy that I went
That's
to
a tough one, man.
Chicago with.
Is he good? Like, cause that
Mentally?
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, but like we
that's a
talk,
psychologically draining
we
move.
talk about. That's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean, he jokes around because he's a funny.
So he does
individual.
joke around.
But you don't know how someone's truly
Well,
feeling
it's-
inside.
yeah. Guys, I
Right.
do want to mention this. I mentioned it again yesterday. I do want to mention it again because I do believe it is awfully noble. He's gone for the day, so he won't be able to make a cameo. But Fabian, you guys know him as Fabian or the Chilean Nightmare, really depending on how I say it that day. He's got really long hair, 28 inches, in fact, says this headline. And he's donating it to children who are going through chemotherapy. He's, I think, 5 kids, I think it was, or something, 12 ponytails. It takes 10 inches, 10 to 12 inches. I'm just trying to read here for that. I don't know how many kids exactly, but 4 kids. It's 4 kids, right? So it's 4 children that he's kind of raising money for. So we want to raise about $10,000, but our first goal here is $5K, and we're awfully close. We're up to $3,600 or thereabouts, so about 72% of that first level. We would be like forever in your debt, you know, figuratively speaking, of course. If you did help us with this cause, you know, I think it's one of the more noble causes. We've done this before. We did it with Feifei, who is this guy right here. Where is he at, Joey?
If you don't like the video right now and subscribe to the channel, I might dunk on you.
I do love that. I do like his
Might
aggressive attitude
dunk
because
on
he's
you.
actually a great guy. He cut his hair, as you saw there. His hair was very long. We did it for the earthquake in Turkey at the time for the relief there for children. So we're doing it again. We're doing it in a bit of a different way. This time we're focusing on cancer. So we would really like if you guys, Assassino, if we could show that again. Just mosey on over there. The link is in the chat. It's literally at the bottom. It's called Chop for Charity. If you could help us out with that, we'd be really indebted to you guys. So thank you for everybody who's done it so far. A lot of great, look at this, bro. Look at all these. Brian Shannon threw his hat into the ring, man. $138 from Brian Shannon. We know who 526 is. That ain't a shock there. We know who she is, even though she put anonymous, but you know, great lady, obviously. So thank you guys for everybody who's donated, and thank you for everybody again.
All right, yeah, good stuff. All right, man.
What did she say, bro?
You have access to it as well too. But
Ram?
yeah.
What did she say, bro? I don't even see where she said.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, really? All right, that's cool. But yeah, I mean, but why would you want to do that though? Why?
I want to go and do that.
and do that?
Huh?
Why you want to go and do that? Those be to get the hands on that Tommy. Yeah, all right, Jesse. Why would you want to go and do that? No, Loon, I don't even. Yeah, Tori, Brandon, you guys are crazy.
I constantly have
man.
to unblock his comments because they're so.
I don't know.
Streamlabs blocks most of the stuff he says, and I think it's okay.
Yeah, you wanna. Should we do the news here?
Yeah,
now? It's
absolutely.
1:27.
Let's
Let's
go ahead
fire
and do
this
that,
stuff up,
yeah.
man. I want to talk a little Target. See ya. Ready to fire it up.
Let's take a look at analog devices here and earnings that they reported numbers. Revenue is coming at $4.02 billion, beating estimates of the range of $3.91 billion to $3.92 billion. Adjusted EPS has come in at $3.45 per share, topping the estimates of $3.33 to $3.34 per share. GAAP net income is coming at $1.34 billion compared to $518.5 million compared to a year ago. And revenue outlook approx at $4.3 billion, and adjusted EPS expectations to be between the range of $3.71 to $4.01.
Let's have a look at this. Yeah, so great look for them. Apparently, over the last 4 quarters, they've passed consensus EPS estimates 4 times, so profitability, very good for them here. They're an analog, obviously, and a mixed industry. $4 billion of revenue ending in the July quarter. What else is there to speak about here? No easy answers to this question. What's next for them? Empirical research shows strong correlation between near-term stock movements and trends. So this tells me nothing. This is a waste of time to read. So do you have any comments about
I don't.
prices?
No, I do not. No, we'll send it over to see it for our next story. Okay.
Well, let's talk about TGT. Net sales are up 5.3% from a year ago quarter. Comparable sales up 3.8%, topping Wall Street's expectations of 2.4%. EPS at $4.11, and revenue at $26.54 billion versus $26.14 billion that was expected. Net income now currently stands at $1.88 billion versus $935 million a year ago, and digital comparable sales have jumped 8.7%, and same-day delivery is now up more than 25%. So as per the company, all of its 6 categories have seen immense growth. However, there has been a category that has lagged, and company executives have said that they are keen on fixing these things, that is apparel and home categories. The company has said that it has lowered costs of 10,000 products and is working on putting more costs to be lowered in the pipeline. And it has also attracted more customers into stores by doing this, that is lower the cost. So additionally, Target has introduced and opened 17 new stores.
Great one. Let's talk about this one here. So big variance between their GAAP EPS, as we spoke about in the morning. There was one major one-line item, and that was a tariff refund that fundamentally distorted earnings per share to the tune of $1.65. So they printed $4.11, but when you remove that one-line item, we're looking more at $2.46, so a distortion of about 20%. And also, let's talk about the comps, because their comps were quite good. 3.8% bump year over year, but completely opposite of the comp increase that we spoke about yesterday for Home Depot, which was boosted by average ticket price going up. The comp sales here are almost all foot traffic and very little in the way of price increases. Now, the problem is the basket size, the cart size or whatever, only grew 0.2%. So they're bringing more people in, but those people are not necessarily buying more. It's a good problem to have more people coming in there, because at least they're coming in. Perhaps you can monetize them, right? Whereas you're relying on less people coming in with price increases, that isn't sustainable. That's why I juxtapose it to the Home Depot model. Going on, it looks like here that their non-merchandise monetization outgrew retail. What am I talking about? I'm talking about their ad network. I'm talking about their Circle 360 paid subscription. I'm also talking about Target Plus, which is their third-party resellers service, kind of like Walmart and Amazon. They're making good money off that, and it grew at 20% year over year. And I'll submit to you that is a higher margin business than retail, which is notoriously low. Just ask somebody who knows. Digital comps growth led by 25%. This is a huge deal here. Whereas we saw foot traffic increase 3.8% for actual stores, digital, which is way higher margins because you don't have to keep the products in store, grew at 25%. Digital comp, 8.7%. The growth was heavily led by the same day fulfillment, which is, basically their Target Circle 360. That part grew by 25%. Digital comps grew by 8.7. I misspoke there. Let's send it to Adair.
Nice pop in SNAP here. So basically, this account by the name of Z Contrarian and X have got roughly 48,000 followers. They just posted a couple minutes ago. They've initiated a 3% position in Snap. Now, the important part here is they mentioned that based on, I guess, a filing by this group called Arenic Capital, they believe that Arenic is trying to make activist change here in Snapchat. So there's a pretty small potatoes investor here on X initiating a position, and B, that person is speculating there could be activist interest. Either way, doesn't matter how you slice it. SNAP did pop a little bit higher here with volume. Back to you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, and thank you for that, Sharif. Just to add to a couple of your points there, you're saying more traffic. The CEO also stated that the company has seen the most transactions this quarter that it has in the past couple of decades. So a nice, strong base there, delivering broad-based sales growth and improved profitability despite the impact from price cuts on more than 10,000 frequently purchased items. I think is huge. Now we're seeing the company also realize a 28% in ad revenue, which is pretty good. But some things that stood out to me here, guys, a couple of the things here. Even excluding the benefit of tariff refunds, Target still beat expectations with 5.3% increase in sales growth, contributing to a profit of $4.11 per share. I mean, those numbers aren't horrible. We've seen the stock up over 55% in the past couple of months since the beginning of the year, I guess I should say. And especially within a company whose first couple of stints in this country did not go over well. I remember it was back in 2013 when Target first came to Canada, I believe, and then they had another stint as well that was unsuccessful.
I just want to mention, with respect to Snap, Evan Spiegel has super voting shares, so he essentially has absolute power over the business. So the Class A common shares that are traded on the stock exchange have 0 voting rights. Class B common stock, that's held primarily by early investors, and that confers 1 vote per share. And then Class C, that's exclusively held by Evan Spiegel and Bobby Murphy, who's the CTO. Those carry 10 votes per share. So a board fight or a proxy fight cannot ensue unless they acquire Class B and Class C common shares to outvote Bobby Murphy and Evan Spiegel. I just wanted to make that point. Let's send it back to Sia.
TJX here. So TJX earnings now, EPS came in at $1.22. That is up 11% versus the prior year and a beat of 3 cents when compared to analyst expectations of $1.19. Net sales for the quarter at $15.2 billion versus $15.919 billion estimated. Consolidated comparable sales are also up 4% for the company. That is above its plan, according to the release. And net income has come in at $1.52 billion compared to $1.24 billion as of last year. And for the guidance, TJX is seeing EPS for first year 2027 to come between the range of $5.15 to $5.20.
Some good information here. Let's talk about foot traffic, because the comps, again, great comps year over year, 4% bump for TJX. I think a lot of this company, they execute quite well, and apparently their management has been together and they're quite closely knit, if you believe some of the reports, which makes sense given the cohesiveness of this company. You rarely hear anything bad from them. But unlike traditional department stores that rely on price hikes to drive the top line number, TJX's 4% increase in comparable sales year over year was driven almost entirely by higher customer transactions. Not just foot traffic, not just price increases, but higher customers. So the basket size here bigger. That means people are spending more in the store. I love that headline. I get that it sold off quite aggressively. I'm just speaking with respect to this headline. Now, apparently, how they're operating in the United States is widely different than how they're operating internationally. They grew at 14.1% in the US, but when you look at some pre-tax profits, this and that, it's more like 11.4, but that was really brought down specifically by Europe and Australia, according to this report, which didn't perform well at all. So a bit of a different drag there. And they also have a huge inventory pipeline build. They're increasing their inventory about 7% year over year. Typically, you don't do that. You don't take on more capital costs unless you think that you're going to be able to move the inventory. To me, that's a bullish projection. They see sales possibly increasing in the full year into 27. As a result, they're taking on more inventory. So I do like that. Obviously, that does deplete free cash flow in the short term. Something to think about there.
So there's a couple of positive things here. Some modest growth, though, 1% as price sensitivity consumers slow their discretionary spending that you're seeing in, obviously, the United States. But Canada not looking too bad. While sales at Miramax were well below our expectations, Home Goods, TJX Canada, and TJX International all delivered traffic comp sales increase to 6 to 7%, which underscores the strength of our global diversified business. Now, I mean, that's not too bad. It's a name that got hit off of their earnings report report, and when you kind of lower your guidance and you come in a little bit lower than expectations, then sure enough, the stock is going to get hit. But 6 to 7%, I mean, mid-single-digit growth, I don't think there's too much to complain about there.
Let's take a look at EL here. Estée Lauder reporting EPS of 39 cents, beating analyst estimates of 32 cents. Revenue at $3.63 billion versus the expectations of the company that were at $3.55 billion. Organic net sales growth of 5% this quarter. And now for guidance, EPS in the range of $3.10 to $3.35. Adjusted operating margin between 12.7% and 13.5%. And CEO of the company, Stephanie de la Fave, has said, we are raising our outlook for an even stronger adjusted operating margin as we double on our own strengths to further diversify growth across product categories and geographies, including accelerating growth in North America.
Yeah. Just reading this part here. Interesting look. Okay, so let's talk about their fragrance division, because for the first time it joined the $1 billion club. I'm talking about Joe Malone and Tom Ford crossing $1 billion in annual sales. That is important here. It grew 10% year over year, and the reason fragrance is an important division for them, it is markedly higher margins than skincare and makeup. So something they try to focus on. But I also like the shift in the direct to consumer, and they're doing it via Amazon and TikTok. I really like that, because if you want to get in with the younger generation, you're going to have to go where they are. And TikTok, I'll submit to you, is definitely one of those places. So I do like that. It looks also their full year 27 is going to be front loaded. They expect more money to come in the earlier part of 27 than they do in the latter half. So that may affect, how you hold this position. So think about that. And their U.S. market share gain kind of was offset by mainland China volatility. So as one area of one of their geographic areas does well, the other one gets hurt. And we've been talking a lot about, consumer weakness in China, whether it's in the EV sector or other sectors, real estate as well. So that kind of makes sense a little bit here.
For sure. So, and for sure. Now, there's something that I find interesting. Estée Lauder is bearing the fruits of some of these efforts. They're doing a pivotal change within the company. Joe Malone, I can see why it's hitting $1 billion in sales street.
Joe Malone.
It's extremely expensive. Yeah, it's ridiculously expensive for such small milliliter bottles as well too. Anyways, the company, I would want one, already has them. Anyways.
Oh, that's why you know.
That's why I know, my boy. It's already pretty expensive. No, but in all seriousness, this is key, right? The company narrowed its fiscal fourth quarter loss as sales rose 6.3% to $3.6 billion ahead of Wall Street estimates, and driven by broad-based strength across geographies and categories. Like De La Favre said on a call with reports. I have no idea what any of this stuff is, to be honest with you, but I am familiar with this. Looking ahead, the owners of brands such as Max, Smashbox, and Joe Malone is focused on maintaining its momentum. The company continues to expect organic net sales growth of 3 to 5% in the coming year, and it has additionally lifted its adjusted operating margin outlook. Now, the CEO also stating, we're going to double down on what is working, which means continuing to strengthen the desirable of our brands and bringing bigger and bolder innovations to the market faster, said the CEO. So a couple of segments working out really well. Mac, Smashbox, and Joe Malone really driving this train. Oh,
I spoke already.
No, yeah, we were saying it, yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Let's take a look at Lowe's earnings. Adjusted EPS at $4.40, which is up 1.6% year over year. Total sales standing at $25.96 billion, and comparable sales are now up 0.2%, marginally less, but these have been driven by pro and home services, and a 15.7% hike in online sales. Net earnings stand at $2.4 billion. Now let's take a look at the full year. Sales have been reduced to approximately $92 billion. Comparable sales are expected to be roughly flat, and adjusted diluted EPS is expected to be approximately $12.25. And Lowe is currently up 2.5% on the day.
All right, so as we always, let's talk about the EPS here and some distortions that could have taken place based on one-line items that may not reoccur. And in this case, we'll see. But 11 pennies per share of the 440 reported was essentially the refund of the IEPA tariff. So including those one-time items, we're looking at $4.29 rather than $4.40, but I'll submit to you that that's a really good EPS as well. But that's where some of the good news ends. They cut guidance, guys. Management lowered full-year guide across the board. They're saying about $92 billion now. Prior guide was 92 to 94. They're also adjusting their EPS down to approximately $12.25. Prior to that, they were saying $12.25 to $12.75. So very much lower, towards the lower end of the guide there. And then this is something that, you know, doesn't surprise me, but we're seeing this a lot more in the retail reports, which is digital outperformance relative to in-store traffic. Get it, Joey? 15.7% increase there for them year over year. All the while, their foot traffic continued to suffer. Now, we've talked a lot about, you know, how Home Depot and the like have started taking their business to the pros, right? They're getting away from the do-it-yourselfers because they feel like maybe they're not showing up as much. You know, a lot of people did all that during COVID and it hasn't really come time. So they're focusing on the professionals, which obviously are a higher margin business as well. So I do like that, but I don't like the fact that, you know, the guide was cut. I want to say one thing though. Apparently they have this new AI tool called Milo AI. And my curiosity was struck here, so I got to do this. Let's put this up, Assassino. Let's see if we can get this, or they're going to block me. So meet Milo, our new AI assistant. So what the hell is this thing going to do? Get inspiration, how to help, and the right product recommendations for your next project. Should we get started? Let's go have a look at this. So what is it going to do for me here? Am I going to be able to just kind of like put pictures in my living room, different setups and
You can do
whatever?
that now.
Right? Upload images, get the right advice faster, upload inspiration photos or a picture of what you're fixing for help and product recommendations. I like that. And then you can use voice commands apparently, hands full, ask questions, hands free. Do they have anything else other than that? That's pretty basic stuff, brother. Project help, product recommendations, inspiration. I guess I could move the needle a little bit.
It
right?
has been, I feel like, right? Some of these tools. And I want to add to your point as you were talking about the online space. We're seeing that in Home Depot as well, too, to the tune of where they're actually having a feature where they're having delivery, right? So you can order off of the app, you order off of the website, and then within 3 hours, specific items within the store itself get delivered to your home, right? So I mean, that's really good. And it's been the narrative for both of these companies, Home Depot and Lauder, respectively. You're seeing the decrease in the do-it-yourselfer and the increase within the pro. All right, so 15% increase when it comes to pro and home services. Online sales also growing 15% as well too. So I mean, a lot of people, you see that home improvement really start to cool down, but the pro is the one who's been driving the trend for the past 5 consecutive quarters. What's the one with the guy with the neighbor? Yeah, with the
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen. And like
And then his 3 boys.
yeah, his 3 boys.
One of them who I think is going to.
Yeah,
Wilson, is it? Wilson, yeah, Wilson.
We never saw his face.
This is Wilson.
Heidi, neighbor.
Yeah.
Wilson. I like that show, man. Tool Time.
Yeah, it's him.
Remember Tool Time?
Tool
That
Time
was
with
like,
his boy.
Yeah, Al Borland.
Yeah,
right? Oh my days.
That's crazy, man.
All right, man. Those are like, that's some 90s way back playback right there.
It's like early, like Young and the Restless time, man. Like, like Victor Newman.
Yeah, Victor. Oh my days, that brings back.
I always wanted to be like Victor Newman, man.
Tool Time was that show, yes.
Yeah, it was.
Apparently SOC is blasting, so let's just take a quick look before we send it back up to Sia. Shout out to Benton, thank you for that call out, brother. Yes, SOC is Rip City, Rip City. I mean, what the hell is this? This is on volume 2. This 1 minute candle has 3.5 million shares. Almost 3.5 million shares of volume. Now the subsequent candle is not as much, 465, and this one's got about 288. But guess what? Trend is still intact. 477 high, showing 72s now. This could see 5 sooner rather than later. And I don't see a headline, at least on my blotter, to account for this latest bump. But just give you an idea, this closed out at about $4 yesterday. So before the breakout, it was up like 3%. Now it's up 18. SOC. Sable Offshore. It is a $906 million market cap, independent oil and gas company, guys. So thank you, Benton, for calling that out. Very interesting breakout there, midday.
Let's take a look at Moderna and Merck here. So an experimental personalized cancer vaccine, like I did briefly mention, we talked about this earlier in the show, but just important to touch on. Personalized cancer vaccine from Merck and Moderna has shown positive initial results in its first ever late-stage trial, which brings the companies one step closer to file for approval of the treatment option. So the Moderna-based shot in combination with Merck's immunotherapy Keytruda have met key goals in the phase 3 trial in more than 1,100 patients with higher risk or advanced melanoma whose detectable cancer had been completely removed through surgery. Merck shares had climbed, last that I checked, more than 11%, and currently Moderna is up 143%.
This is a historic industry milestone. Let's be honest about it, right? It's the first successful phase 3 readout, both for a cancer-based vaccine therapy. So that is, to me anyway, can't come soon enough. But they did, as I mentioned in the morning, they did pass this by the FDA. They tried to get early clearance back in 24 when it was a phase 2 trial. The FDA rebuffed them, so they went to phase 3. It was an equally, if not more successful phase 3 than phase 2. And here we are. They've resubmitted the application. Something tells me it may get approved this time around. But as Adair and I were talking about in the morning, this is a hyper-personalized vaccine, meaning it's not going to come off the production line ready to go into your arm. It is going to be customized for the individual patient, depending on the type of cancer that they have. To me, that means a couple of things. Probably slower off the production line and probably a bit more costly. Let's be honest about personalized service. Usually costs more money. And then apparently, sorry about that. The immune-related adverse effects remained essentially flat between it being used alone and in conjunction with Keytruda as well. It had a better acceptance profile per patient than Keytruda did. So I'm not saying it's individually better than Keytruda. I'm just saying it's more well tolerated. Something to think about.
Yeah, I don't have much to say on the vaccine itself, but just the fact that, I mean, the street's pricing in that this could be potentially worth $30 billion. And where am I getting at with that? Well, that's what it added in market cap, which is absolutely insane. And I think a lot of people are saying that's somewhat of a stretch. So $30 billion in market cap added to this name. I mean, listen, it's starting to pull back a little bit, but that could be a little risky too. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some form of a pullback, because pricing that much in that quick is pretty dangerous.
Katina Man short 155.
Short, well, I mean, what's it printing right now?
Where's it at?
How many dollars?
Four. We do it? Should we do it?
Yeah.
Should we do it?
Pull it up, my boy. Sounds like one of the shows that I know you watch quite often.
Taking shots at me. I barely watch anything. What are you talking about?
Let me finish. Bruh. Are you ready?
Yes.
Right. Hit it one more time. Sounds like one of those transition songs in Love Island.
Bro, I watch Love Island? What the hell are you talking about, bro? Oh my days. I'm sitting there waiting. I'm like, this guy's going to tell me a show apparently that I watch. I didn't know that I was watching.
Obviously, I'm messing with you. Obviously, I know. Well, you thought I was serious when I started the conversation with like one of the shows that you watch quite often.
I thought you were going to talk about a historical one, like
no,
Big Bang
man.
Theory or something like that, man. Yes, yeah, I get it. All right, let's send it back to see it because we got more news to talk about.
Final story, yes, indeed, for the day. According to a securities filing regarding Marvel and Google, Marvel shares have rallied over now 8%. They were 8.5% earlier, so Marvel's over 8% on a deal that would allow Google to buy up to $12.2 billion in shares of this company. So this deal will allow Google to purchase up to 58,970,907 shares at a $206.58 a piece. Marvel has said in a filing that the expanded agreement will include products that, quote unquote, attach to the tensor processing unit ecosystem, such as AI inference accelerators and storage and network interface controllers. Marvel up 8% on the day.
Great. I like how you pointed out, Sia, that the full tranche here could be about 58 and change. I'm just trying to look for it here. Sorry, where is it? Where is it? 58 and change. I thought there. I don't know where it is. Anyway, so here's what I was going to talk about. 1.36 million shares are going to vest in year one. The remaining amount, dollar-wise, which is about $57.6 billion, that's going to vest across 240 tranches. Each tranche will require $500 million in cumulative purchases. So to fully earn all the shares that is allotted in this deal, Google actually has to generate $120 billion in custom product revenue for Marvell through 2033. That's not a small amount here for them. Just look at their history. How many, what's the order size they've had in their entire history, and then juxtapose that to what Google has to generate them in a matter of about 5.5 years, 6 years, whatever. Let's also talk about the strike price for those vesting shares. I think this was quite clever by Marvell to make it at above market. It was $206.58. That's what the warrant exercise price is fixed at. That will require Google to pay, in addition to the money or that they're going to pay for products, they're going to pay Marvell about $12.18 billion. You can't imagine that's going to really help with free cash flow. And I want to kind of bring it to the side a sec. So about a few months ago, we started talking about Marvell throwing their hat into the optics rings, right? We saw that deal that they made with Nvidia. And our assumption at the time was that Nvidia was going into the ASICs route via their acquisition of Grok, right? So the deal that Marvell and Nvidia struck was an optics one. And our philosophy at the time, or at least mine, was that maybe they were looking at not really competing with Nvidia, but being more complementary to Nvidia by getting out of ASICs, right? Which is a direct competitor both to Grok and Nvidia's GPUs. But that's not really happening here. They're throwing their hat right back into the ASICs ring. That's what TPUs are, man, right? So you're going to have AI inference accelerators as part of this deal. You're going to have storage controllers, network interface, and near memory compute. So very much still within their moat is ASICs, application-specific integrated circuits. But when you give this kind of share size, especially even if it's to a company as robust as Google, there is share dilution in play here. And if all the shares are eventually vested, it would dilute the share pool by about 6.7%. It would also make Google one of the largest institutional shareholders of the outstanding common stock. And last but not least, they had a deal like this, as Adair and I were talking about in the morning, with AWS back in 24. So this is not the first time they've done that. And they did dilute the share pool at that time as well.
So again, I'm not going to say it's necessarily an issue, but I think it's just a picture. It just deepens the picture of the kind of the circularity of things right now, Sharif. The way that I'm looking at this deal is it's almost identical to what AMD has got going on with OpenAI and Meta. Right,
Yeah,
so
OpenAI and Meta. Okay.
how they're giving the shares in tranches, right?
Exactly.
So I'm not saying it's
and dilution.
Exactly, and dilution.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that I'm overly worried about it. There's another way that we can look at it is that all of these companies are really optimistic about each other, right? It's not just NVDA partnering up with everybody, but see, we had the $2 billion investment in Marvell earlier in the year, and so CoreWeave as well with NVDA. Now we're starting to see Google do the exact same thing. So, I mean, the circularity is broadening, that's for sure, but I don't necessarily say it's the end all to be all to this.
Can I say something to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And here's what I'm thinking. Why is this company, Marvell, giving up possibly some of itself, ownership, to Google? Like, what could be the reason? Well, obviously, the first one is they're going to sell them stuff, right? Yeah. But why would they need the money up front? They need the money up front because they can't buy the chip-making equipment. They can't produce it with the own money that they have now. So either they go into the debt market, to JP, whomever, Morgan, and then pay through the nose in the interest rate, or they do it this way.
Yeah, which is smart.
Which is smart in the short term.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at. There's not a silver lining, but there is kind of that catch-22 in that, yes, okay.
Will they forever hold stake?
That I wasn't going to talk about that. What I was going to say is you either incur interest costs now by going into the debt market to finance the capital build-out, or you give up part of the company, possibly, to an entity like Google. So which one is a better long-term investment? That's kind of what I'm trying to put here. And I don't know the answer to that.
Well, I don't know if you. Well, see, the issue being is obviously you can't. I don't know if you can have the ability to buy your stake back from the company. I highly doubt that's going to be.
I don't think so.
No, there's no chance.
Yeah.
So it's the exact same thing, almost kind of like what AMD is doing. So do you pay those interest fees now, or do you have other individuals, other entities take stake within your company in order for you to pay for that build out, as you just mentioned? So.
Good point. Let's send it to Adair.
Be aware here, guys. We do have in watch here ADBE, Adobe. Seeing apparently they debuted a new product, specifically Adobe Firefly, debuting an all-in-one AI creative studio that combines image and video generation with editing. So that could be a good look here for ADBE, given that sometimes AI-related video editing developments send the stock to the downside. Right now, though, not reacting. Back to you.
Yeah. All right. All right, let's go through a quick check here. Let's see exactly how it all went on the day. Let's just start with QTEX. That was not a successful trade, and we got out of that one super quick. AZI was quite good to us. It's still good right now. So I do want to mention AZI for all the small cap traders going to go into the afternoon. 207 high, just put that in. It's still holding structure, holding prior bar low. 10 EMA on the 5 is $1.80. Prior bar low is 176. Look for a hold up of that. It certainly didn't hold up at 2, but it's, or is it halting down? I don't know. I can't, no. So AZI in focus as well. I do want to mention as well the big winner though, CDTG, right? For everybody, that was a monster through the highs. This one was a bamboozler initially, and then we got profitable on it, so good look. I was of the opinion when this one went to 750 that we would likely be on the way to 10. I'm not saying it's basically out of the game now, but we'd have to reclaim $7 before we can look at that. We're not that far away from it. So a lot going on today, guys. It wasn't the most aggressive small cap day, but we also had ZSTK as well, and this one is well below now the moving averages as well as the volume weighted average price. So this one feels like it's being caught up by the shorts here. Trying to hold that $6 VWAP on this one for 875. Anybody looking for a reversion trade? Time for me to go, baby.
Are you excited?
Time for me to go.
Are you excited?
I'm going straight home. We're going to start packing the bags.
Yeah. Are you excited yet or what?
Yeah, I am excited. I'm
You're gonna get
getting
that
some sleep on the airplane.
Oh, okay. You got the second wave of energy, the airport.
the airport energy. Yeah, there you go.
All right,
so Ob in with Joey tomorrow and on Friday as well. He'll be covering for me until next Thursday. I will be back Friday next week, guys. We'll see everybody then. Stay green, baby. Peace.
All right.